They're not gonna try to go for the end, and they will fully respect GXP right under their base, but there is another wave coming in mid. It's going to crash really, really soon, and that's a lot of space created. Ling only finding one, but Rian only has her eyes on the turret, and the lethal counter! Finding Ling! It's a shutdown towards Keishi, but will that be enough? A missile arrow landing onto Rian! And that could have been the game-changing play right here for GXP! Tempest of Blades from Fa. Mirai already starting to get really, really low, and another free hit from Winnie! Potentially turning things around! Not Ayanami trying to sustain, but she cannot!
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. As Renmar mentioned, the arrow, it just needs to hit. Once that arrow connects, there's so much more you can do with it. And this time, despite GXP showing just a sliver of hope here, Na'Vi have already taken out 3 of their inhibitor turrets. The macro is going to be a little difficult to play once the next Lord spawns, and Na'Vi, they don't mind it. You got that first shutdown, fine, that's on us. But look at this replay, right? You're making sure getting pushed out of the way, but this engagement coming in from Ling initially was looking good until they got executed. However, you see the mistake come right about, oh no! They timed it out before the arrow was about to be thrown, but even so, you can tell the frustration on Na'Vi's face.
Yeah, but it was just a pixel away until we weren't able to see it. But you know what happened at that moment. It was an unfortunate sequence for Na'Vi, even as they just tried to really attempt for an end angle. And now let's see how they play around with their positionings once again, because they have been placing these traps around the areas where Mirai is really expected to just show up, even throwing them out just to ensure that they will have enough information. So that's GXP really playing it safe, but is Fa gonna be safe on top? She's having to deal with not Ayanami.
I mean, Fa unfortunately just literally cannot 1v1 this Freya. Not without that Bruno, not like how we saw it earlier. And worse yet, Na'Vi, this is what we call the chokehold. Like, how do you even win this scenario? No matter what you do, Mirai can catch you with the shortcut, and which they're about to see right now.
Tempest of Blades used right before the portal gets laid down, and Mirai will no longer try to go for the chase. But that was really smart from Na'Vi as well. Okay, wait. Fa, not gonna fight that.
They could still technically chase this for a little bit, but the more attention Fa is able to bring to them, the better.
Okay, that's BMI and Rain alongside Mirai trying to go for Fa. They're not letting him return, or her to return to the base. As not Ayanami, Mirai and Keishi too are just dealing with the waves. Fa is down! And the portal gets laid down. Now the rest of the members can catch up and just go for the siege. The Lord is still up. Sophia trying to jump in. It's Mirai who she's actually targeting, but the Blazing do it! And now it's Winnie using the wind of nature, but they do not care. They're after the base. Lethal counter, and that's the end.
Oh, tough one. Really, really tough one. Well played here by
Trời
Na'Vi.
mà vẫn chẳng như một game
They made sure not only from the drafting section they've had answers, but more importantly, their macro was on point. That's how you set up for a rear naked chokehold, man. No getting out of those ones.
Ở đây game team ở đây,
Barely
game team.
farm. And I'm not even talking about a single player. I'm talking about both of their carries, both Fa
Chào mừng game TP, mà game
and
TP.
even
Game
Winnie on the Bruno, who
nhung cho mà
again
toàn
was
này
forced
này
to
tao
play
cái
a
đi.
different hero, and Na'Vi have
Ở
dealt
đằng
with
bên đây.
it so well.
It's so well, but at the same time, we need to see more. Right now, Na'Vi is looking like they're setting a very high standard here at GXP. It's either they meet it or they're going to drop that game. We're already at match point, but now we're going to be throwing it back to the studio right after these messages.
Nice one. Game này dâng lên mùi muối mới này là cái này mà. Tại sao pi game đấy. Đó những bay game traditional này nè. Bay game. Nice one, bay game. Su.
It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo.
Này.
Ergonomically engineered for you.
Ta này là cái player chui support cho có mà chui subscribe đó.
Na'Vi are off to an absolutely incredible start, now leading 2-0 in this best of 5, putting them one map away from securing their spot into the grand finals. Welcome back into the studio.
Grand
I'm Taylor
final.
Reflections Noble, joined by
Okay.
Renmar and Mirko. Boys, Na'Vi, a big
Oh,
win
นี่
once again.
Grand final เลย
Renmar, you got to protect that voice. You're screaming, man.
That wasn't me. That was another guy in the crowd.
That was Reptar. That was Reptar.
Devilishly handsome. Yeah, that was Reptar, not Renmar. If you know, you know. Man, how do I
เป็น
feel
กระดาษไป
about
โปรได้
the
นะครับ
fact
นี่
that it's 2 games now where it
ยัง
feels
ไง
like we
มา
can
ยั
say
ง
we
ตัว
told
วันรอ
you
ลาง
so
แต่
with your
เว็บ
draft
ไฟนอล
priority.
Yeah, I think it was also just
เกมนี้ยัง
exactly
เธอ
as
ไม่
we
เอา
assumed,
แต่
right?
ล้อมาแหม
Game
ใบ
one,
มวยมาแน่แนวเขาเรียกว่า
GXP
ใบมวย
tried to
นะ
play, try
บ
to
ริษัทมุก
subvert
เก่า
our
อ่ะ
expectations, try to subvert Navi's expectations with crazy picks, denying a lot of the win conditions from Navi. The gamble didn't pay off. Game 2, they went back to their assassins, and Navi had prepared for those assassins. The Claude and the Lilia picks were so good.
So how does Galaxy Phoenix find themselves now? Because it's 2 back-to-back hero selections that they didn't do well. Obviously, the coach on the back lines is doing everything he can.
Yep.
But Galaxy Phoenix, they are knocking on the door of dropping down to only play for 3rd place.
I feel like there's a bit of an overthink on the side of Galaxy Phoenix. There was one ban in the first phase, that Harith rush ban, which we thought meant that they were setting up for either the Freya because the Phovis was gone, or they would pick up the Claw themselves. They subverted expectations, but then it felt like it was a different writer, so the middle of the new trilogy doesn't make sense in the big picture of it all. I'm not throwing pot shots at anything.
You know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We do, Miracle. Let's take a look at the stats, though. Ooh, we get a bit of a different graph this time.
Yeah, we get a total gold. It's a gold chart all around. It's just Navi taking control of the early game through the Bauman. I think it's just classic. Then we see a bit of a slight movement over there on the right towards GXP. But as even the casters mentioned, there's not much that GXP could do even with that team fight win, right? Even with that almost wipeout.
Yeah, we did get to see the role that Sophia needed to play here and what could have been the bad
ตอนนี้
part
เรา
for
เขาเนี่ย
Na'Vi,
ประ
which
จุ
is
ส
if
ปอน
those
มอแนว
arrows
เนี่ยมาป
landed
ระจุ
over
ลา
and over
จุ
again.
เซมาว่า
But in MLBB for so many years now,
เรา
it's
ยัง
always
ยัง
about
ไล่เกม
simplicity.
everyday
How
วินา
much
ทีใน
shipper
เรา
is
เขาเนี่ย
your
มา
lineup
ว่า
to pull off compared to the opponents. If you have good crowd control, good damage, and it's simple, that's great. If it's a bit too overcomplicated, it's not good for you.
Well, it looks like Rain is in the building, and I don't mean Rain physically, but hey, Rain, the co-streamer, how you doing, man? Let's bring him in, because Rain has been covering the action. He's been hugely passionate about MWI naturally and giving all the coverage not only to his fans, but also to even us at times joining us on the desk. And Rain is an integral part to the MLBB scene, and I know he's been supporting a couple of different rosters, but when we get a chance to speak to him, I want to know what he's thinking about this matchup here. Na'Vi versus Galaxy Phoenix. Rain,
hello,
how
guys.
you doing, man? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I actually quite enjoying the match just now. For me, Na'Vi PH playing better as a whole. They have better draft, have better early game, better targeting. Yeah, I'm quite enjoy the show right now.
Hey, and that's actually what they've been talking about. Miracle, you mentioned it. When it comes to Galaxy Phoenix, they're just falling behind on the hero draft.
Yeah, it really just feels like that's the case. And King Salman has really gotten the read on Galaxy Phoenix. So I want to ask you, Ray.
Yeah.
What do you think GXP should do for game number 3 to turn things around?
I think they need to think properly their draft, especially there's like certain heroes that might quite questionable against Na'Vi composition. For example, that Hilda against utility jungler. And also, because in terms of when we're saying about mechanical skills, right? I think GXP have that quality that can fight Na'Vi PH, you know. But overall, as a team, because right now, overall, Na'Vi have better targeting, also better wave management, and also good early game. So these 3 things, GXP need to fight them.
All right, well, let's see if the words of wisdom from you, Rain, will end up paying off for the team of Galaxy Phoenix. Thank you as always, Rain. We really appreciate
Most
everything
welcome, guys.
that
I'm
you're doing
enjoying
for
the show
MWI.
with you guys.
Absolutely, and I hope to shake his hand eventually. I haven't actually had a chance to see him in person just yet. It's always been virtual, even though he's quite literally just right up there. So we're going to have to connect. Let's take a look at some of the players' emotions from that game number 2. And in the meeting room, that Makes sense. Get everybody in a little powwow, discuss some strategies, get out there and fight.
They have to keep up the discipline, though. We've seen them in the similar position in the Southeast Asian Games gold medal match against Team Malaysia when they were representing Team Philippines. They fumbled that. That hurt them. But they did admit that they learned a lot from that, and they have to show it here. They have to end this series and make it to the grand finals now.
That's it. Americo, let's take a look at one of our great actions from that second map that we just witnessed. We're going to go towards the mid-game, and I believe close towards a mid-fight for the Lord, at least eventually coming up. What are we noticing in this engagement?
I think right now it's just the fact that Na'Vi are just so calm and composed, right? They don't need to go for the neutral objective. They don't need to send the Freya over because they have the shortcut. A couple of times, though, it did happen where GXP were just quicker and they were able to just pull the trigger. But at the end of the day, it's kind of the same story we saw from game number 1 as well. It was Na'Vi just baiting all these resources with their front line so that their backline could come in late with the shortcut and clean up.
But Renmar, Galaxy Phoenix did show some life. It was a bit later on in the game, but they successfully defended their base. It didn't amount to much in the overall scheme of things, but they were still fighting to the very end.
Yeah, it was a preview. That Selena of Sophia, which did already get to have a great showing in MWI, arrow after arrow, and this is a rare moment in this series of Na'Vi slipping on the discipline, not respecting the gap closing capabilities of Ling on the Sora. It was able to get taken down by Na'Vi, but once that arrow hit, bang, and it landed on Rian as well. So you know that the Selena comfort is there. It's just that, again, overall, this happened way too late.
I think it's just the early fundamentals built up again, something that Rain mentioned too, right? It's the drafts. Now, what specifically in the drafts should they fix? It's not just the Freya picking up these prio picks, but it's also setting up for the Selena. If you're already planning for it, you need someone with mid-prio, someone that can clear fast in the roam, like a Cho, instead of a Hilda.
Well, as we head back to the stage, the ladies once again get set back up to go toe-to-toe with each other for what could possibly be the final round. Na'Vi wants to close it out now 3-0. Galaxy Phoenix, however, need to reverse sweep. Not an easy task across any esport that you're playing, especially here in the MWI. It can sometimes be an impossible task. Galaxy Phoenix has already achieved the impossible, being the underdog pick, making it to this stage. But is that enough? Are they satisfied with their performance so far? Or do they want a little bit more? As far as the fundamentals go, I understand Galaxy Phoenix is losing the hero picks. But do their fundamentals look good enough to where if they can, in fact, battle Na'Vi in the hero selection, do you think they can actually take down this Na'Vi roster at least for one more map?
Oh, definitely can. We've seen moments, especially in game number 1, where it was more prevalent, wherein it looked like Na'Vi looked uncomfortable fighting GXP. There were certain angles that they didn't take into account for, didn't realize GXP could even go for. There were moments of discipline that makes me wonder, how come GXP can't do that consistently? If they can find that consistency, then the fundamentals will show.
You did question Sora for the side of Galaxy Phoenix. Do you still question it now?
Yeah, as a first pick, I don't really like it, especially with the Freya up, with the Claude up as well, something that's just integral for Winnie, you know, something that's just so important. I'm going to play devil's advocate, though, for Renmar and say I don't think GXP have the fundamentals against Na'Vi. No,
that's
fundamentally,
tough.
They are worse than GXP. What they thrive in is chaotic skirmishes where they can rely on their mechanics.
Yeah,
I'd say mechanically, they can go toe-to-toe. Maybe they're even better than Na'Vi PH.
More map against Na'Vi. You made it this far, make the most of it. After all, top 4 is a massive accomplishment, but making it to grand finals, lifting that trophy, is even bigger than you could possibly imagine. Map number 3, a fresh opportunity. Will Galaxy Phoenix take advantage?
Are they still a little bit too reactive with the bans?
Exactly. I don't know about this.
You're rushing bans on Chip and Bama. This screams Na'Vi is in the heads of GXP right now.
I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. GXP certainly in that desperate time right now. It's match point in a best of 5. They thought they could slowly get into the series. Yeah. So far, it's just been a wipe.
And Na'Vi have been fast and they have been ruthless. If it gets to the point where you are just fielding some of the best meta picks all out there in the open, trying to overload one another of choices, and maybe that's where Galaxy Phoenix is just leaning onto now. Let's have a lot of choices open so that we could miraculously find a way. They're even banning Xborg first.
Game
Are
này
they going
King
to try
China
to
game
take a
này.
page out of the
Team
book
rồi
of
biết rồi,
other
game
teams
này
where they're
China
trying to go for the Mathilda Barretts right away? That's too much.
Even so, if it's not the Barats Mathilda straight up, I think it's going to be the Baksha, an Akai maybe. It's going to be a utility battle. And again, we've just spoken about this. Me personally, I don't like it. I don't like it when GXP play the slow, fundamental game, building on neutral objectives. I like it when they fight. I like it when they have a composition that relies on their strength, which is team fighting, which is brawling it out. They go for the Baksha. They're going to try to go for speed, tempo, early game. But Na'Vi, we've seen this plenty of times. Atlas Akai into the Baksha. Shut the Baksha down with pure CC.
Na'Vi PH go for those 2 picks right away, then most likely Galaxy Phoenix will have to respond with Valentina. But Na'Vi, they are relentless. They focus on the Lilia and they get the glue, so they don't get that Akai Atlas combo. There's still a potential room for an Akai maybe later on, but I like that they have been consistent with this. They know the strengths of their mid lane with the Lilia. This allows them to get mid prio and be really annoying so that Lemma and Sophia will have a hard time rotating. Ooh, I like this Alice.
I really like the picks now. Coming from GXP, right?
Yes.
Like the Baksha pick first was all right. I didn't really like it at first, but then Na'Vi responded with just Lilia and Glue. So that gave GXP an opening to punish them. The Alice pick is great for the Glue. The Farsa here as well. Really good poke and some more range that they didn't have in the previous game.
If Na'Vi PH want to play around the solid formation around their mid laner, then they rather gold laner, excuse me, maybe a Moskov at red 3 would be warranted, or you pick it up at red 4, you just take away the Claude if you feel like the Claude won't have enough firepower to deal with what could be a very fast scaling Baksha Alice Farsa together. I'm okay with that. At the same time, you take away a pick. Oh, but instead they still go for the carry. They wanted that melt damage, all that damage that you need to deal with the Baksha and Alice together. So now they should probably take away the Claude and the Moskov.
Yep, should be the Claude and the Moskov. There's already too much magic there. I think it's fine to go for the Harith, to go up against the Harith with the carry and the Lilia anyway. So for Na'Vi, it's just back to basics. It's back to, all right, now what do we go for in XP and jungle? Is it the safe 2 double frontliners here, or do they go kind of crazy with it? Because it could just be a Barats Mathilda on Na'Vi's side as well. Chomp down on the Baksha, don't let him get on the red trees, and then win out through playing for your backline.
Yeah, they could still swerve that glue to the EXP and get the combination that is looming right now.
And get Lapu for the Farsa, use all.
Also, there's so many options. So this is the gamble that GXP wanted to play into, but at the same time, they're still leaving a lot of options available for Na'Vi. You pick up the glue early on because you want that flexibility. You make it hard to read whether or not it would actually go into the roam, or is it a flex pick potentially for the EXP. Lots of picks. So Galaxy, they're respecting power right now. They take out the Freya.
I'm not a fan of that. You know, I think with the Alice and the Baksha, you already have the anti-regen, you have the sustain, and also the burst from the Farsa to try to deal with the Freya. You're leaving so many heroes open for not Ayanami. There's already a Yuzong that we mentioned. This could possibly, if they really want to go for the lock, the Terizla too could work, right? There's just so many picks.
It could have a really solid front line in the end that makes it nigh impossible for Galaxy Phoenix to make it through the carry, even if you commit the Throne of Ruin and the Gleam, one dash out, and if you have no other hero with you to try and jump the carry, then it's going to be a great day for Na'Vi.
If it's an assassin in the jungle, we'll see the Terizla. If it's a fighter / tank, then we're going to see more of that Lapu Lapu and, dive heroes. Yuzong, even.
Yuzong,
Atlas gets banned out, so there you go. At least a bit of respect given to GXP, knowing that the glue is still very vulnerable to lockdown.
Even though naturally Alice did come back into our visions when Yuzong started wreaking havoc maybe a season or 2 ago for our MPL leagues. They still respect the Yuzong. Okay, but again, we've mentioned all of the EXP laners that not Ayanami could pick for. She is back into the position of I can pick whatever I want. It's pretty much okay. It's kind of awkward though if you want to consider something like the CC with the Farsa there. You want to be able to latch onto the Baksha, but then with the Alice also you don't know. So still, options are available. I like the flexibility of the Roam Glue pick. I think it's difficult for Galaxy Phoenix to really read into it right now.
That's why that flex pick on the glue is really, I mean, it's a mind game for sure.
Yeah,
GXP, you're thinking about it. They've already banned 2 XPs. It could just go to the XP lane and they go for another roamer.
The Claude will still be open, and Claude does benefit greatly from the little mini glulets. You get your stacks much quicker.
Yeah.
And they show it. They do get the... again, this is another flex pick.
Yeah.
This could surprisingly go into the roam all of a
Could
sudden.
still be a roam Akai and a glue XP into an assassin jungle, yes. And it could be a jungle Akai to a roam glue to then something in XP, or again, it could also just be a damage in XP with the roam going glue, glue going roam. Irithel. Huh. I am not a fan of that.
We've seen some Irithel performances here, and she does hurt, especially once she gets Berk as her first item, Berserker's Fury. But this feels like something the Galaxy Phoenix really prepared for. So maybe there's an angle that we're not seeing right now, but I think we're in agreement here that maybe not the best option to go for at this moment.
Where do they even go? They go for Rome.
Yeah, it's the Rome.
Minotaur.
AoE presence. Their Irithel. Oh, this is all in for the Irithel. The good thing is they have some great damage with the Irithel and Farsa together. But once that Irithel goes out, you're just going to have really tanky dudes wondering why they can't kill anyone.
I think it really should just be the Lapu Lapu, someone that can dive in the back line through the Irithel and the Farsa, break that formation as the carry and Lilia shreds through this tanky composition up front.
Yeah, if not Ayanami is feeling amazing today, then if you want to really shred through the formation with damage, crowd control, then you pick up a Benedetta. But that's more of like an ego pick. That's more of like I'm really feeling myself today and I want to show off pick.
You know what? I like it, you know? Sanford's my boy. I think the Benedetta should be the pick for Na'Vi. Oh, yeah, the flex. They just pull the crazy flex. It's glue XP, Akai jungle, and roaming Kaja.
My goodness, what a hero draft, but was it enough for Galaxy Phoenix to take down Na'Vi? Who knows? The underdog story is still alive, but only just. Na'Vi is looking to reclaim what they lost a couple years ago, be back in grand finals, be a champion once again, and they are one map away from entering the grand finals. It's Galaxy Phoenix versus Na'Vi. Brigida, Gideon, let's get it started.
History has told us that maybe Na'Vi just didn't have what it takes, but this year it's different. With competitors from all over the world, this competition has only gotten better, and Na'Vi are one game away from qualifying to the grand finals, unless Galaxy Phoenix can extend this series. Let's jump into this right here, right now in the Land of Dawn, as we hope that level 1 doesn't go as badly as game number 2.
They're so close. They're so close to making it back, and that's knowing that all these new regions, all these competitors have been stepping up in their own ways too. But even in their most desperate moments, Na'Vi right now that they're back on track, they're just not letting go of these more unique types of roamers and compositions, and they're making it work every single time. That sudden flex now to reveal the Kaja, but a great start for GXP, forcing out the flicker from Riyadh.
Okay, a little unfortunate that Winnie did not get the gold crab, but Mirai was able to steal it away. But at this stage, you can see what exactly they want to do. Sophia is a little under-leveled here.
Oh, Lema to flicker to... This has been the trend for every single early game. Na'Vi with the Lilia not changing their mid-hero for 3 games straight. Just constantly spamming all these pokes. And now that it's with a Kaja, it's a lot more annoying in a sense that even the Kaja is just going to walk up straight to you, apply these slows, and potentially even a bit more damage.
Yeah, what I can't understand here was what happened here at level 1. Why was the first rotation down towards the goal when it should have been here in the mid? The mid is struggling right now. Unless Sophia can close the distance and land that stun onto Rain and get a full commitment with Lima in the jungle, that's kind of the only problem. But Winnie here might just get solo killed, no problem as well.
Oh, so close! And she does! First blood over to Riyadh. No flicker though. Can Lima actually take her out? There's a dash and the concussive blast will actually be enough.
God bless, God bless. At least they were able to get it back, and now it actually is slightly in Winnie's favor because they're going to be able to make it to that wave first. However, the gold is still in favor of Rian, as now the turtle spawns out. Let's see how it plays.
Link shows up, Throne of Ruin already casted, but the heavy spin 2 pins down their jungler. Ba could not live long, but actually gets to land the retribution. Also will go down, but that's going to be an exchange of Keishi. Both junglers traded by these two teams. Oh, Keishi, or not Ayanami rather, being chased. That's going to be another kill over to GXP.
And not Ayanami, unfortunately, not finding the perfect angle to actually get the split
Rồi mà chop
down.
stun.
For the time being, though,
Chop stun.
this is what I was talking about. Now, getting control over that wave. After this solo kill, initially, most people are going to be thinking, yeah, no, this is going to be great. Rian equalizes the lane. It actually doesn't, assuming that Rian was able to survive right up till the dive. Now you can see the level lead as well as the gold lead becoming more clear as Winnie is trying to just lock out this lane.
I feel like GXP too, after what happened in game number 2, are just like, yeah, we cannot just let Winnie experience the same thing all over again.
No more.
This isn't a chip lineup anyway, but the fact that they are on a very hard lockdown type of composition who could just pretty much combo it with either the carry and the Lilia are still going to be a massive threat for Winnie as the main damage dealer later on. So now they are somehow showing us more and more rotations towards the bottom lane. I think that's also why you got to see that in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, I think Winnie at this point is probably just praying, like, please do not let me get hit by Divine Judgment, like anything but that. I don't mind a heavy spin, I got Purified, but now the next fight begins.
Okay, it's gonna be Mirai as the target quickly bursted down as expected from Sophia and the rest of GXP. Even the EXP lanes being managed really well by Link right now.
They managed to find an interception, which is great, but also I think Na'Vi, unfortunately, is still having a bit of lingering thoughts from the previous game, thinking that they're really far ahead. Mirai, you're not in that position anymore, you know? You're not having an extra 1,000 gold on top of Lima this time round.
Yep, and there wasn't, I think, anyone there yet to just really apply the follow-up damage. If ever they do get to find a Divine Judgment, they could probably deal a bit of poke here and there, but this is where it really should have mattered. This is the next turtle of the game, and both teams are going to fight for it.
I can put the handcuffs on somebody. Fortunately, they still need someone else to be the guillotine. Oh.
Fuzz after Keishi, that forces out the heavy spin, and the feathered airstrike already gets committed as well, but I believe it was cancelled, and now it's an isolation play onto Fa! Oh! Turn of Ruin and Yo and Fury! GXP might actually turn things around. Rain having to flicker out, Winnie with a heavy crossbow, dealing a lot of damage as well, and they survive. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Both junglers are down.
That counter engage coming in from Ling to save the day right at the very end. However, Rian still 2-1 score, trying to keep back up, and despite what happened in the early stages of the game, manages to get enough of a care package, some economic aid to stay even.
All these ultra-reliant heroes from GXP though, they probably will get it back a few moments later, but Na'Vi are just for sure going to be confident enough to get back in this too. It's only the heavy spin that's been taken out alongside the Divine Judgment.
I don't understand why Ling is still trying to pull the wave. They know that they didn't have their ults earlier. They could have started zoning out way earlier. They knew they didn't have ults. They also knew they didn't have the battle spells. And now they're giving up the space open to Na'Vi.
Yep, because Na'Vi are back. Heavy spin is back, and the turtle gets reset all over again. But it's going to be an attempt from Ling, which doesn't land onto anyone. And look at how not Ayanami is just trying to go for the zone. An annoying way to just break formation. Minnow and Fury forced out again, but it's Casey who gets knocked off. Fa still finding retribution. They get to isolate Ling, but they might not have the damage for this. It's GXP finding more kills.
Unfortunate indeed. Honestly, Na'Vi played as good as they can to kind of get out of this situation, but that first initial whiff coming in from Ling, really unfortunate to say the least, but Fa still made it work. Steals away the Lord just in time, because Keishi had pretty much all the advantages.
Yep, they're really working as a unit at this point. Now a quick conversion to another objective as well. GXP are just focusing so much of their resources towards the bottom lane, even in that entire sequence where it feels like they barely paid attention to the other parts of the map, just as long as they could win it out in that turtle fight.
Yeah, and now they just want to keep on progressing it, right? Whoa.
Divine Judgment, that's gonna be one. It's a shutdown on Sophia. I think it's a great start if Na'Vi, who slowly wants to get back in this game.
But some of the bad habits are starting to show. The way that GXP is opening up the map is honestly getting them killed more often than not. Oh, good flicker and a pull!
Oh, what a timing! He still gets brought back! Now it's another kill for Na'Vi. It's both mid-duos.
Yeah, Lima tried to use the Minoan Fury as a means to not get displaced because of the anti-CC, but just did it a little too late, unfortunately. This punish is good, but that battle spell, I don't know. If you're already gonna flicker anyway, you might as well just let it happen.
Yeah. And not Ayanami We'll just get it back real quick. We're looking at the gold difference right now. Not much in terms of the gold lane, not much in terms of most of the lanes. It's really in the macro that you kind of feel what GXP wants to do differently this time in comparison to Na'Vi.
But at the same time, it feels like both Na'Vi and GXP, they've sharpened each other
Game
enough.
long,
And
game long,
after these
game
past
long,
2 games,
yeah.
they're really picking up on the bad habits. Look at this.
Nhưng mà
once
time quá
again, we
kìa, nó
find
game
another
bây giờ những time
isolation.
kìa.
Sophia gets caught here by not Ayanami, but will get to wings by wings her out. But under the turret, can Ayanami still find the kill? It seems like it's a no. And then
Cha
Fog is
phá
dragged
này.
back under the
À,
turret.
vào đấy.
An unfortunate sequence for GXP.
Really sad, but well played from Na'Vi. They are not going to take this sitting down. They're going to make sure that they're being tall and proud when they take this game away. It's 6-6 so far, and Na'Vi are in full position to take the Lord as well. Divine Judgment is not up, and Split is still on cooldown.
This is just so interesting to me how Na'Vi are able to deal with either the utility or assassin comp from GXP.
Right? I totally agree with you.
Ôi
because
cái
here
snappy
we're
game
seeing
ở đây nè tao kìa.
sides of Na'Vi.
Trời
Usually
ơi.
we see a lot of, big personalities, but a very
Game ấy thôi mấy
clear
lệ
and
sửa nè
clear
kìa.
idea of how they want to play a game. Na'Vi,
Cái
not
snappy
only
game ấy nè.
have they shown how tall they
Play
are,
bờ
but
mình.
they're showing how wide this team composition and the styles of play that they have in their pockets
Okay,
are.
su su.
Let me know when Fury and the Throne of Ruin, but
Win,
heavy
win,
spin as
win,
a
win.
defensive tool to just make sure that
Ôi
GXP are not able to push
má,
forward.
lỗ men,
We are
chập
trying to
âm
fight
điện ở đây,
huge
âm
difference
bay
right
bàn,
now.
led kẻ bay bàn,
GXP
led kẻ bay
lose
bàn.
a little more
Led
in
kẻ
the
bay với nè, led
process.
kẻ bay với.
That's gonna
Mùi
be
mùi,
a
mùi
2-for-1
mùi, mùi mùi
trade
mau.
right before the Lord.
That was a pretty
Chơi
good idea
bay
initially
xôn.
from Navi's side. I think there was a little bit of
À mà một bên
hesitation
này,
from Rihanna.
thằng
Let's
mình
pull up the
các bạn
item
bị
list. I wanna
bay
just
rồi
get a
đó.
double confirmation
Bay
of
chơi
whether or
gò lỗ
not
mới
the
cái này
Trinity
ra.
has been complete, and that's why
Ai
you
chà.
have to commit to her full ult to ensure that at least they get a trade back. But
Phút
without the
lơ đi
THS,
quá,
it's gonna
play
be a
lo
lot
để kia
harder
món.
to get through the Limas and the
Nice.
Phas if you're
Lo
only
đấy đâu play
hoping
kia.
that your passive is gonna be enough.
They're gonna burst
Nhưng
it down
phút
real quick. They do
vô
not want
mà trẹt.
another instance of GXP just
Phút vô mà trẹt tần.
potentially trying to fight back considering what you just
Chứ mà
mentioned.
game
They
này
still
cú
don't
sao.
have the DHS, but at least for now they get
Nhỏ
a
bán
bit
mới nè
more
kìa. Đọc để cho là
advantage
nhỏ lắm
and
trời.
the first lord
Thêm
of
mai
the
vẫn
game
tranh
as
kia
well.
pi
What's
số nè.
interesting, at least for GXP, they're able to really
Nghe nói
push
thôi
the
bây giờ
sides, but Mirai, all alone here, gets a bit of protection from Keishi, and now
thôi
two
mà cái
members
lỗ
at
men
least
ơi.
really close under their very own territory. Throne of Ruin captured by Link. Now
Này.
Ayanami trying to find a target, does find one, but the
Này
damage
này này
dealers
này
are
này, ghé nó
here.
dương vay với cái này nè.
GXP are just
Cari
turning
mau
things
rồi,
around.
sạp
We
tập
have
vô
finally
tập
hit
vô
the
rồi.
coin. But then Sophia,
Ơi,
Mirai,
cái bẹt lan mau ơi.
who does she find?
Ơi
It's Sophia,
ơi,
but she's
tranh kia lại
the
nâng rồi.
Rain and Rian are making
Chọn vào đây,
it work
bẹt xanh mau,
all
bẹt
by
xanh mau, bẹt xanh mau.
This is what I was
Ở đây
talking
này
about.
sợ bay,
Bad
sợ bay
habits.
mà, bay
They
mà.
notice GXP, they keep coming at us front to back. They're not
Mẹ
thinking
rong
about
ta
their
dương
sides.
vô
They're not
hero
thinking
mau
about
đừng
their
lẹt
sides.
bét
They're
à.
thinking about that huge top wave getting
Bẹt xanh
demolished
mau
by the
trời.
Lord.
And now Navi are just chasing after them, so
Cái
they
chập
couldn't
bàn
go
bật.
for the defense.
Chọc
Venom
bật.
Airstrike trying to help out Link, but it's not gonna be enough.
This is the 101 of war. When you are fighting in the
Nice.
front lines, you must understand what
Oh,
your
shield
supply
red vào
lines
rồi.
are, the logistics to get there.
Game đấy thôi
Right
mấy
now,
dương
Na'Vi
lấy
have
ở lỗ
attacked
má
them
liên
in
tục
so
cướp kia
many
xanh má.
different areas. GXP,
Sẹp
they
sẹp
tell
mùi
the
mùi
tunnel
má
vision.
mà.
The peripherals is getting darker and darker. They have to wake up. Take a moment, just breathe.
Because we're so used to them being really synced up in terms of especially prioritization, the targets that they go for, and how they're always
Đồ, pass ra
almost on
lại
the
cái lũ,
same page,
cái lũ
but
chập
we're
bàn,
not
cá
seeing
cha
that
mau
from
rồi,
GXP
cá cha
at
chập
all.
ba đấy,
More
ai ba
from
đây.
Navi as they find another
Này.
kill. Sophia, knock up from the middle of Fury, together with the Throne
Chết
of
đáy rồi.
Ruin, but the
Ui,
relevant members are
này
just
này
getting
này
away.
này
It's
này
not
này.
Ayanami traded out, but
Ui.
Fa goes down too. It's a double
Mẹ rong ta
for
cái tan
Rian,
ấy
and
vay
she's
gẹt chứ
just
sao.
7-1-2.
It's so frustrating.
Cái tan đấy nào
because
kìa,
the
cái tan này.
combo is good. It's
Trời
the
ơi, tan
perfect
chơi
Noah
vay này
Fury
chứ.
into the Throne of Ruin that had to
Mà
commit a
vay
full
chứ.
round of Ling. They just didn't have enough AoE to
Trời
burst
ơi,
down the members
game
after the
thôi bây
combo.
giờ
Winnie can only hit so many targets at once, and luckily from the front lines of Na'Vi, they have enough armor to tank the explosive
Show.
crossbows.
It's all their base turrets exposed. Just with that single Lord Siege, which Na'Vi barely had to work with because they just let it walk through the top lane, and every single lane too just pushed forward just because GXP kept forcing the fight.
Yeah, I mean, majority of the... Oh, hold on, the Divine Judgment is good. Rihanna's already blown them up. So Throne Ruin tries their best backline. In trouble, Sophia finds one. Casey gets another. And now the chase. Rain needs the witness against Winnie. Purify being used. The heavy spin locks down far.
Trời mà bọn ấy lọc tầm môi mà. Trời ơi.
You took 2 of our members. We take 3.
And GXP just wanted to repeat the exact same thing. It was probably not the exact same sequence in a sense that Lema
Terakhir vô mà tập pí
got to cast the Minnow on Fury, but it was follow-up from Ling that eventually, in hopes of them converting it into a successful team fight, but Navi were just a bit too prepared for that. They knew who they wanted to target, and they just kept pushing forward. Now it's a massive loss as GXP had to let go of the Lord.
Cái vô cây mà lộ men. Cái cây có mọi Pasa join team fight bạn.
100% sure what that roadmap actually looks like. They've got some really good ideas, but sometimes when do you actually want to find those initiations? Before they tried to initiate after Sophia was caught, they were thinking about, hey, if they get a little bit closer, we can make something happen. And all of a sudden, the Flicker Divine Judgment was the real play. So I think that GXP right now, they're trying to set the priority order. Do we worry about this Divine Judgment? Can we get Sophia in a better position so that Winnie can follow up immediately after?
Hopefully they figured out not to, because we've been questioning the priority order for the longest time in this entire game. Who does GXP
Nhưng tục bài
really
bàn
want
nó
to go
rồi
first? What is the game
damage,
plan considering that
damage
they're mostly
lơ
revolving around Winnie and Sophia,
bên
but
đi mà
Navi, even if they decide
lơ
to go
mầm
for
dương
their
mầm
front
dương
lines,
nơi
and
stir
Navi's
toàn
damage
mình bị
dealers
đến đến
are
tầm khăn
actually
của lũ
making
cô
it worse.
pha
Now
sang
they
khăn
have
mình
an
đến.
entire Lord with no
Ok,
damage.
tục
Their
tục
holy
tục tục tục.
shields left up top. They're on the verge of losing so much
Lót đi
more.
là tốt bá ở tay sầm khánh cứ tha
It's just really difficult for Lima especially. Oh,
Oh, that was a flicker in, but Mirage
này
does
này
get
này này.
tackled though. Does
Trời
have
cái
the
chết cọ
opportunity.
thiệt.
It's gonna be okay. Feather
Ô
there.
này.
Fury
Cái
tries
này
to
cái
defend
này
as
cái
much
này.
as he can. Keishi
Ê không cho
defends
nó
the
pick
heavy
dạ.
spin, but Winnie finds a double. Navi have to run away wings by wings towards not Ayanami, and they go back right in. Do they really want to fight this? Not Ayanami actually finds a beat.
no way! No way!
Trời rất rối thiệt.
Winnie ended up killing her own teammate because of that. They could have just stopped autoing. But they were just so desperate.
Trời mà
to
rất
make
rối
it
kia
work.
ơi.
Literally anything would have been good
Dạ
there.
mấy ơi nhưng admin lôi vay kia chân mẹ nè. Kia thứ ai gặp sao nè. Ở đây thôi mới tôi phải chụp nhưng cái game này bay vay kia vậy này. Nhà đâu ta dân tranh là bay kia vậy chứ. Nhà đâu kia nho nho giống như pra ultimate ấy mà là bay tờ vay kia. Sạm trời à. Ây cha. Cái chuyện này bạn ơi. Để mấy tờ khám bể tờ chuyện này mà. Giờ này là dân thơ là bay ấy mới pra là bay ấy mới là bay chika kia chika cái kia là bay cái bay còn mà cái đá chung kia chẳng bị. Ai cha.
What could be the best order at this point? You would really
Bay
expect
sôn
it's just
mẹ
either
nào ta mắc vậy này.
Lema or Ling. Does someone have to
Lươn
be
pe bay sôn
left
trời
behind,
bay
be
sôn.
some sort of protect for Winnie and Sophia? They do have the flickers and the purifies for themselves, but it just seems that as long as Navi get that one pick off done,
Thằng mấy lon này bán
there's
nó lò.
nothing stopping them at all.
Lôi lon đi bán lò. Cha chập pha bàn bạc. Này, vậy rồi. Nó tầm khăn cả lũ cô. Cô pha xa dân má rồi. Chẳng bà mà, bà trôi vay mùi kia. Khởi dân tranh kia cái lại nữa. Tầm khăn kia nói pha xa dân kia rồi tỏ tìm bệt chỗ. Ở đây tầm khăn lùi lọt má lộ. Ta ghé ní mẹ rộng thằng kia vay lót cái vay mình được hiểu mà. Cái vay dân vô mà. Ai cha. Mau ơi. Bị cái rồi mà. Ót ấy ở đây. Sao mà đây luôn sao mà đây. Này. Trời. Mà nó lang chi có lang chi mà rồi. Láng chim chắc rồi. Vãi phải đó.
Holy
shit, man.
And that's totally fine. Look at the timers. Look at the
Sure,
timers. The
yeah,
wave is
cái nói
going to
thế dân
spawn.
khơi mình tên.
If they waited a little bit longer, it would have been nice after the 12
Ai
minutes. But
chà.
since then, even so, not Ayanami has done everything they've wanted. Lima doesn't have a flicker. Ling still doesn't have the flicker as well. And by the time the Lord actually makes it down into the base, she's still not going to have the flicker.
Yeah, I feel like GXP wanted to go for something there, but they saw Mirai and were like,
Nah,
no.
it's good.
No, and we have a Lord. I'm glad they actually realized that they might have to pull back a bit because they have to deal with a Lord and Na'Vi are approaching their base.
At this point, I might as well just stare at Mirai the entire time because again, her flickers with the divine judgments have been immaculate.
Ở đây kia bãi trôi dân
They
đây.
get to clear the Lord.
Ở đây mùi.
Na'Vi are not really going to make use of it just yet. They also have to wait for
Kia
not
bãi trôi dân,
Ayanami,
kia
I
bãi trôi
feel,
dân.
if they really want to risk a 5-on-5 engage. So GXP are taking advantage of this, and at least after 18 minutes are still in the game.
Would you say? I would say that Na'Vi understands their composition, but they're also giving a lot of respect to GXP.
Yeah.
Like, despite everything that has happened in this game, GXP was going even with Na'Vi.
Game này rồi mới tục để cho máu hơi dừng chứ cơ. Mặt cái bạch ấy máu dừng ai đôi trẹp đôi ấy mình tinh tinh máu. Game nó đời dừng qua nhà. Xong cánh khai tại khi dừng plot á. Ai nào muốn cái lũ cô phá xa dừng khai mình tên ở đó trôi tới khăn nông để bà. Dừng còn tại tại thì mới tích cái lũ mà cô bạch trong bộ bạc khai mình tên hay. Cái này kia giờ tan đi sao chơi nha. Thôi mới tục bởi ba lọ cái này. Yeah, I frog. Mình I frog man.
So they might want to pay attention to that because that'll definitely change the way they approach their team fights for even just a bit. If
Mà sân nhung chỉ player nhung lang từ phu khang lợi quá đi. Phu khang cầu, tay khang cầu nữa. Tại phá xá lứa này nè, phá xá ho tới một plate cho một bite cái bite ai. Phu trẹp ba nè. Tại kia thét lứa nè, kia thét lứa.
Oh, but this could be a problem too. Immortality pick up for Winnie already. Just letting go of the boots.
Ngày nay kia trong luyện thế cháu khi đi dân trên như thế này. Cái chạm đạn tệ dữ. Tại dân đạn tệ kia đây. Ai da. Lọt tiếng thơm với nhau. Lọt đi chắc phải bán máu. Chắc lọt bán. Khi dân nơi tục bán em. Tại vì khi dân tục bán đấy chào em bảo là.
Defensively, but more importantly, have to be very proactive on the map because you already have the fleet in time. You might as well just let it rip when you have the chance. But if that window, if you don't have that follow-up, isn't good enough, GXP again might even up the score 18-18.
Yeah, the punish is very much possible for GXP with just a single mistake, but Na'Vi are forcing the Lord. There goes that heavy spin, and they convert. Not Ayanami finding one. Does Na'Vi still fight? This is a no. They flicker out. They won't run away.
Đồ lại nâng rồi đấy. Đồ lại nâng.
But Lima finds more.
Đồ lại nâng rồi. Trời, rô thiệt. Trời. Vì mình đá ơi. Cái vai vinh rồi. Kari Mirati mệt vánh vai vinh rồi. Trời mà ơi. Lo bên này. Đó đi. Chọc à. Dạ mình ơi. Lucky chơi mà. Chào bạn trai, bây giờ mà đây. Công. Hey. Này. Trời. Bà cái vai tay.
What a game. What an absolutely disgusting game coming out of Na'Vi. Not only have they shaken off the rust of day number 1, they're coming in here saying, no, you better remember the name. It's going to be at the grand final.
They find their way back to the grand finals.
Cái lần từ grand final bà ta hai bà.
Not being able to meet expectations, especially when they first started out here in MWI, but look at where they are now.
And you watch their entire history, from their inception to their success to missing out an entire year to be back here in 2026 to redeem the names. This is going to be an impressive storyline, but let's quickly look at this replay as these fights go on. Desperation got hold of GXP. They saw they lost the Lord. They needed something back desperately, and that's a great mentality.
Mà Lilia cô đó không ơi kìa.
Count your losses, and you can tell it's devastating, but at the same time, hey, you know, there's always another year. This has been a great showing from GXP. Let's throw it over to our interview up on the stage.
Yes, congratulations right here to Na'Vi Philippines. They have clocked in their ticket to the grand finals in an incredibly convincing 3-0 sweep. Congratulations once again. Now, for you guys to reach here, definitely it has been successful thus far after the decider bracket, but you know, what are certain struggles that you guys faced?
I think the first we play in this stage is kind of shaky, but yeah, we made it here.
You guys made it here even though it was a little shaky. So yes, now you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. We would like to invite Galaxy Phoenix to please pass your tournament key over to Na'Vi Philippines. Galaxy Phoenix, you did Cambodia proud, but your journey ends here still with the best finish for Cambodia. Well done. Your journey ends. Thank you. And now, wait, I still have tons of questions. I know you're excited because Galaxy Phoenix, they were the ones that put you in this predicament, in this ordeal. They sent you down to the brackets to crawl out, and right now you're here in the grand finals. You know, what were the adjustments made that you guys did to face them today, the exact same foes?
I think we just play confidently, that's all.
You just play it confidently, and now that you have their keys here in the hand, the very ones that defeated you in group stages, what do you have to say? How do you feel?
I'm so happy because it's my dream to play here in stage now, and also I'm so proud to my team because we made this so far.
And the Philippines is really proud of you as well. And final question, can we, you know, the fans of Na'Vi Philippines and the fans who are watching you guys back home, can you tell them confidently that this is Na'Vi PH in its competition form, the championship form?
Guys, please support us tomorrow because we're gonna claim the championship.
Let's see if history will repeat itself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Na'Vi Philippines going to the grand finals. Take your walk of victory.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Na'Vi officially in grand finals. Congratulations. Go ahead and drop that key in there. This is a moment in history for Na'Vi. Congrats. She said thank you. She's hyped up. I can feel the aura. I can feel the aura coming off you right now with good reason. Team Na'Vi officially about to go ahead and crush that key. Yeah, let's make sure we got make sure that we safe. I will make sure that you protect it from this huge explosion. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. They fought valiantly, but oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Na'Vi getting it done. Congratulations again for qualifying for the finals right here at MWI. Will they be able to punch their ticket? And more importantly, for the time being, who will end up being their opponent? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and send things over to our highlights before we get to our next match.
Mình đã bị sọc đáy này mà dừng. job តអ្នកនរគ្នាបាទយើងចាំមើលថ្ងៃស្អែកទៀតអើយអូខេយើងដល់វគ្គ break ហើយយើងដល់វគ្គសម្រាប់សិនឥឡូវយើងចូលទៅមើលការប្រកួត
Oh man.
Heck, they're the only team to get a full clean sweep in the knockout stage so far.
Yeah, the run of Na'Vi can only be described as, the first day, some of us, this is a first-time appearance here on this kind of stage, but then they got better, they improved, they got sharper, they reclaimed a little bit of their old form, and I love what I've been seeing from them so far.
You know, they're a talented roster for sure. They might have started off slow, but that 2-0 victory over Team Ray Young last night was dominant, and they never lost control.
It was fantastic. That win was just, they were able to dissect the game of Team Ray Young, completely neutralizing it, and then closing it out so well by just playing it slow and disciplined.
Absolutely, but opposite of them is a team that is not going to go down without a fight. It's Galaxy Phoenix, and this roster has been on fire. Again, we question Queen of the Jungle. Fa is a great representation of that. She's been unstoppable.
The Cambodian playstyle has always revolved around fighting, and as the years pass on, teams from Cambodia improve managing minions alongside when they fight, and still somehow get deadlier with fighting. It's the antithesis of the Filipino playstyle. They're aggressive and they aren't afraid to take risks.
It's all about taking risks, right? It's all about living in the moment, playing it chaotic, and sometimes, yeah, it doesn't look like the cleanest MLBB. Sometimes you throw a big lead, but that's just the style of play that they get. Even in some of the moments where I was casting, I was like, all right, maybe it's time for Galaxy Phoenix to slow it down a bit. Wait for the Lord. 80 seconds for the Lord. We see usual teams just play in the base, play it safe. Galaxy Phoenix dive in the base, looking for that fight.
So Galaxy Phoenix, though, as an organization, as a team in general, making it to this point, is it a surprise or was it expected?
It is a surprise, and a pleasant one at that. The Cambodian region has always been so passionate about MLBB and MLBB esports, the competitiveness of it all. So to see their women make it this far and potentially even making it to the grand finals, it's insane.
And Miracle, I was hearing that this is now a true dark horse run. Is that the case?
I agree. I think it was a battle between Seda and Galaxy Phoenix. They met, luckily, in the first round of the knockout stage. So right now we have the dark horse. Galaxy Phoenix, can they beat Na'Vi Philippines, make it to the grand finals first, and show the world that every year of MWI it's going to be a surprise?
That's it, and I like surprises. Now, Na'Vi doesn't want any surprises today, though. They just want to move forward, and they want a chance at the championship once again. I mentioned the club championship points. Trev did as well. Now, Na'Vi is currently in first place. That is a big deal. Last year, they finished in fourth. So Na'Vi making it the grand finals not only increases the amount of club championship points Na'Vi will be getting by default of just being guaranteed a second place, but first place would be, what, like 1,000, which is quite significant for the Na'Vi org. They're banking on this win, but they've got to get through Galaxy Phoenix, the dark horse roster who is looking to make history. Let's face it, they already have made history. Now, Winnie gets a lot of attention as well. Why is Winnie such a big talking point, specifically for the gold lane?
Well, for me, it's because she's literally only played 2 heroes this entire MWI. It's her very dependable Claude, and the fact that her Harith is also great too. We were talking about it behind the scenes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's so dependable, and Na'Vi need to find a way to answer it. But it's an awkward spot. You don't want to ban a Claude.
Yeah, it's just a really, really awkward spot right now for everybody involved, right? I mean, for Winnie, it's like, all right, if you keep on leaving the Claude open, I'm going to pick it up. But the fact that we've seen Na'Vi deal with the Claude, pick it up themselves as well, that's why it's going to be really, really cool to see the drafts here. Whether or not it's going to be full-on Winnie, weak side, play around the jungle again, or will we see finally a Winnie on strong side pick?
Yeah, we're about to head to the stage in just a moment's time to get the ladies on the stage, get them ready to go, and then head into map 1. Again, it is going to be a best of 5. We've spoke a lot about Fa, the king of the jungle, and how good she's been. We've been praising her name since day 1. Fa, like, been screaming it out here. Hey, but is she truly going to be the queen of the jungle? Let's find out. Hey, the stage is set. We're ready to go. Let's bring the competitors up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for day 4 of MWI here at the Esports World Cup. So far, we have seen the highest levels of play, but we are done with all of that 2 out of 3, as moving forward, everything is going to be 3 out of 5 in our 2 semifinals matches. It is about to be a movie. Damascus, what do we have today?
Rob, it's an exciting day today. The semifinals are about to be played and we're about to kick off the first semifinal of the day. Listen, it's time to welcome our first team qualifying out of Cambodia, Team Galaxy Phoenix!
Galaxy Phoenix has proven to be an absolute powerhouse in their first international appearance. Imagine making a splash like this and letting it be known that even going up against the best, they refuse to be shaken. Now we'll see just how far they'll take it. Let's send things over to our interview.
Now, girls, this is the best showing for Cambodia yet. You have already done your country proud. Anything you would like to say to your opponents?
បាទអញ្ចឹងយើងបាននោមមោទនភាពដល់សរុបខ្មែរតាមមានអ្វីដែលចង់និយាយទៅកាន់ប្រកួតប្រជែងរបស់យើងគូប្រកួតប្រជែង
សម្រាប់គូប្រកួតប្រជែងចង់ប្រាប់ថាថ្ងៃហ្នឹងពួកខ្ញុំសុំទៅ Grand Final មុនទេ
I want to say that to our opponent that we're going to make it to the grand final today.
And we wish you luck. Please head on over to your battle station.
Oh man, they try to punch that ticket in the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. The pressure does not get higher than this, but our next team is accustomed to it. Please welcome to the stage, Na'Vi!
Qualified out of the Philippines, they had a strong start and they unfortunately could not get the first win, but they've been through the trenches and got a couple wins. They're the only team going for the clean sweep yesterday over Team Ray Young, led by Not Ayanami, absolutely on fire. The Filipino team comes to the stage looking for a title that has eluded them since 2024.
Look at Asmarai in this exact same position yesterday as I interviewed you as a winner. Now, anything you would like to say to your rising stars, the opponents, Galaxy Phoenix?
We'll just do our best now and win this game.
In this game, you shall. Please take your seats at your battle station. So yes, yesterday, we have seen some really interesting things unfold. Right now, stakes are high and hunger shows. We've opened up the knockout stages, seeing our top seeds with an unblemished run go the full distance. And with a surprise flip in the script, Na'Vi PH actually took down their opponents to be here today. But as Marai mentioned yesterday, deja vu? Could this be their miracle run again? Let's see here, because in this matchup, who are they facing? The very foe that put them in this position to be crawling out of the brackets. This is a rematch of day 1. Over to you guys at the casters, and welcome to the knockout stages semi-finals.
Cheryl, Damascus, Hollywood, Rob TV, looking phenomenal up there, and so are our competitors. The ladies have taken the stage, and things start to get real. It's the knockout stage. It's semifinals. Winner moves forward to grand finals. The loser's not done just yet, but they won't have a shot at the championship title. Boys, let's break it down even further. We've talked about storylines, Queen of the Jungle, but now let's dig a little bit deeper. I want to talk Not Ayanami, who has been out of this world. She's a phenomenal competitor, and from what I'm hearing, she is her. Not Ayanami, what does she bring to the Na'Vi roster?
Well, right now, the most unique hero pool in all of MWI. 8 unique heroes picked, only played the CC twice. Everything else once. She is dependable and she is very flexible in terms of what the team needs from her.
Yeah, she fills in exactly what the team needs, right? Yesterday, they needed someone in the XP to deal damage. They wanted to play utility jungle just to take away from their opponents straight up. They are able to understand, to read the game so well, and it just takes away the weapons from their opponents. So right now, I think finally, they get some time to read Galaxy Phoenix. The first time they met, it almost felt like it was a Na'Vi from last year.
Oh, yeah.
Up against Game and Gladiators, where they lost as well, where they just weren't expecting some of these weapons to come out. Now that they're fully aware of it, now that they've gone through those reviews of the VODs, I think they'll know exactly who to target. Fa on those assassin jungles and maybe punish Winnie on that hero pool that we were talking about.
Yeah, I got to talk to Coach King Salman. He did admit that the ladies did have a bit of nerves during day number 1, and after they got through that, they regained their confidence. It was like that moment from The Lion King, remember who you are, and they remembered who they were.
Na'Vi, man, sometimes the nerves can hit even for the best out there. That's what I want to see today, smiles on the stage, but both teams can't smile, of course, because one of the teams have to lose. Now, for Galaxy Phoenix on the opposite side, going back to Fa, she is absolutely unstoppable. Fun fact, she has 100% win rate with Ling. So if Ling is chosen for Fa, ooh, I don't know, you might be in a little bit of trouble. Sora's also, of course, quite powerful, but Ling, at least for Fa, is great. So on the opposite side of Fa, you got Keshi. Can Keshi truly counter Fa? Because she clearly needs to step it up in her lane today.
Yeah, actually, after the loss to Galaxy Phoenix, Na'Vi doubled down on the Filipino playstyle of picking the tank utility junglers. A lot of Bakshas, Akais, heroes that could actually threaten an assassin-centered jungler like Fa. So I think Galaxy Phoenix needs to pay extra attention to protecting their side of the river, because if they don't, then Fa cannot get fired up.
Could be very, very tough for Fa, but the thing is, when we're talking about Keishi, she's really good on assassins as well, right? So if we're talking, all right, you want to neutralize their game through objectives, you go for those tanks, the utility jungles. But if Na'Vi want to turn it around, just flip the script, they could be the ones to pick up the assassins, go 50-50, especially in a best of 5. Try to read your opponents in, maybe get that morale advantage in game 1, game 2, and then maybe go for the head quick. Clean sweep. They've been the only team to have done that so far in the knockout stage.
You know, these teams have history. They've met before. Sometimes Galaxy Phoenix gets the best of Na'Vi, and then the opposite way around. The biggest note, though, for Galaxy Phoenix coming into this is they really have already proven themselves. They've already made history. They were the dark horses coming in, and my goodness, they are making a championship run. They are officially in contender territory. So for Galaxy Phoenix, they haven't had anything to lose from the start of the tournament to now. I say get loose on stage, feel good. You've already made it this far. Maybe you can go a little bit further.
Yeah, I think that's why that's the vibe of Galaxy Phoenix. They know that there weren't a lot of expectations for them. They weren't expecting a lot out of themselves, but everything that they have done has just been so natural. Their free flow style, not always the cleanest, but it's entertaining, and a lot of, I think, MLBB players can relate to how they play the game.
It's something we don't see in the men's scene anymore, you know? It's always just a system. You need to follow the meta. You need to do a certain, play style to win the game. Here, we see a lot more of team identity, what their strong suits are, and how to utilize it in the game. And it starts in the drafts.
Let's get the first draft started for our semifinals. It's a best of 5. This is just map 1, but nobody wants to fall behind. You want to dominate your map 1, end up ahead. It makes you feel a lot more comfortable. Trust me, especially if you don't have to be forced to come back. Boys, let's break it down.
All right, firstly, Flying Clouds. So far already, I think this is a pretty good map choice for Galaxy Phoenix. They're getting what they want. That aggression early on, fast-paced, trying to join the team fight or rejoin the team fight depending on the situation as fast as they can.
I don't know how to feel about these first 2 bans by Na'Vi, because these are the 2 picks that messed them up in their first meeting. For those 2 games, Galaxy Phoenix rushed the Belleric and rushed the Guinevere. Na'Vi had difficulty against it. So instead of trying to see whether or not they're ready to deal with it now, they just said, nope, we want to take it out. So GXP will also take out the Baksha that we mentioned earlier and would take out the Harith, meaning that we might end up seeing a return to just a trade between the Claude, Carry, and Moskov in the gold lane.
Yeah, could be the Juicin as well here. Depends on what they want to try to prio, right? The Akai still comes up. When we're talking about Na'Vi Philippines, they've been able to dominate that neutral objective game through picking up the Akai. Great flex pick, too. Something that a lot of teams here in the knockout stage have been utilizing. The Paquito will be banned out, despite, I think, the Esmeralda rising in popularity. The Paquito is just too oppressive still.
And it's a difficult choice for Na'Vi. You have Marcel open, Freya open, Esmeralda that you mentioned. So there's 3 picks now that most likely Galaxy Phoenix will be able to get 2 of them on the swing back.
So let's just see. What do Na'Vi prioritize here?
I don't want to see a juice in priority. There they go for the Marcel. I think that's like the most stable out of the 2, because at least now there's a little bit more choices for Galaxy Phoenix. That I think on the swing back, Na'Vi will have some open picks for them that are power meta picks.
And what's different, though, is not Ainami, I believe, usually runs a Boxy, or at least she has, and she's found high success with that. How do you think she's going to do with the Marcel? What's the difference in a Marcel and the Boxia pick?
I mean, well, for Mirai on the roam for the Marcel, I think that allows Mirai to get into the river and keep getting tabs onto where Galaxy Phoenix is. Because we've talked about it. If you want to read Galaxy Phoenix, you need to know where the jungle is. If you are letting Fa get to where she wants to go without any information, it's not a good time for you.
Not at all. Claude, though, gets picked up. Winnie, again, only played 2 heroes, and we'll stick to it. With the Harith banned out, there's only 1 hero in her pool.
Yep.
The Atlas comes around as well. Great choice, but to answer that question as well, I think it's also partly the speed, the tempo difference.
Yeah.
Whenever Na'Vi go for the box, they want it fast, they want it quick, they want to get those invades early to control the neutral objectives, get those early ganks. But on the Marcel, it'll be a delayed approach. They'll try to bait those resources out from Galaxy Phoenix first.
Actually, this was a tough choice for Na'Vi. With the Atlas on the other side, with the Marcel on your side, you have to think about whether or not you want to pick up a Valentina for you, just so you can get that utility, and you don't get the chance to give the golden hour to Galaxy Phoenix if they want to pick the Valentina. So they said, you know what, let's see if we can give it difficulty at the center of the map. We'll pick up the Lilia instead, and they get the power pick in the Esmeralda.
And I understand it, you know, on the Valentina, you deny it away from Galaxy Phoenix, you don't give the golden hour away, you get a Fatal Links to play with as well if you pick up the Valentina. But I think right now it's all about survivability. That's why they build on the Marcel. They're doubling down on sustain, on delaying fights, and playing the long game, just because they know the Galaxy Phoenix tendencies, assassins.
Yes.
They want to go on assassins. They want to get in, get out real quick. If Na'Vi can lock them down in the team fight for a long period of time, this looks like the comp to do it with.
Oh, no junglers yet for either side. Let's see if Galaxy Phoenix will pick it here. And yeah, they do. They'll pick up the Akai, and might not be the best pick right now. I feel like the Valentina would have been much better, even though the difficulty would provided the roam mid. I like the idea that they have the golden hour with them. That guy could have been something else, but let's see.
So going so far from what I'm understanding, the side of Galaxy Phoenix, they want a quick game. They want to finish this strong and fast. Now for Na'Vi though, they're okay with postponing the game, keeping it long. They want to play the slow game to counter the aggression of Galaxy Phoenix. Now for the last 2 heroes to be picked though, could that change up?
It could. It really comes down to picking up the CC in the XP, but the thing is, Na'Vi were the first ones to do it, right? We see the Barats getting banned out as well, just taking it away from Keishi. It really feels like they've kind of swapped their playstyles. Galaxy Phoenix now have gone for the early approach, going for the neutral objectives with the Akai, and I agree with you, Renmar. I'm not a big fan of these picks, not because it doesn't work, but mainly it's because it's just so not Galaxy Phoenix.
Yeah, there's something about it right now. It's like, are you trying to show them that you can play the same playstyle as them? But that's going against how you made it so far here in MWI. You showed off your own playstyle.
But also, is there a chance? Hey, it's semifinals. Grand finals is right there. They're knocking on the door. Have they been holding out this entire time?
I think if there's a time to show it, it should be now. It's a best of 5. You can come into the series slow. You don't need to go in guns blazing with your best picks. You could try to maybe get a win on some of the uncomfortable picks, you know, frustrate your opponents, deny some of these win conditions away. But again, for Na'Vi, it's the CC ban straight up. They do not want this Esmeralda to lose out on the lane.
Yeah, and with them taking that out, the gold lanes for Rian are slowly getting taken away. You still have the carry available, seeing that there's an Akai on the other side. I think Na'Vi has to consider banning out the Farsa of Sophia. That was one of the picks that gave a lot of difficulty. But then if you're going to be stuck with a carry, you have to consider, do I also ban out the Eve? It's a pick your poison type of deal, whether it's the Eve because it's better for the team fights or Farsa with the overall map presence. It's Na'Vi's choice, really.
I'm thinking Eve right now. They need to get that carry, man. So many tanky boys here up for Galaxy Phoenix. They banned the Valentina instead. Something that can still be good, the golden hour, but I personally would take that risk going up against the Valentina, just giving the carry a little bit more range, because the golden hour, if taken by Galaxy Phoenix, could hurt them. They have an Akai and an Atlas. It's all about one moment. If they just mistime the golden hour, miscoordinated that golden hour, it'll be quite tragic.
Yeah, right now it's like Na'Vi said, we don't want the choice, we'll give you the choice. You pick between the Eve or the Farsa, and they do go for the Farsa of Sophia. This is the pick that I saw with how she played it. It really stopped Na'Vi from being able to rotate around the map and take control of the river, so I understand why they would want to prioritize it. We did mention that the carry would be one of the best picks that Na'Vi could go for right now. It's not an Eve, but it's still going to be really difficult because now you have a choice. Are you going to go for the Flicker or are you going to go for the Purify? You pop your Purify against the Atlas, and Sophia still has a Feathered Airstrike. it's almost GG for the carry.
It looks a bit too good right now for Galaxy Phoenix. It doesn't look like Na'Vi have an answer, but we'll find out. Do they go for the Assassins? We mentioned it. Keishi can play the Assassins. They kind of need it right now, a little bit more damage to the backline or something they can threaten the back. Thing is, they don't have a Moskov anymore. The Claude's already denied away from them. They go for the Alice.
Oh.
We saw this in the jungle just yesterday, and it's a Bruno in gold. Not that carry, a little bit more versatility, and I guess, I don't know, it's not really the best of lanes now against the Claude. I think the carry's still better in lane, but the Bruno gets the job done when we're thinking about the main win condition, which is long team fights. You build up on those stacks, get the crits all over.
This is going to be a really demanding game for the Bruno. We talked about the carry and the difficulties it would have against those picks. Bruno even more so.
Yeah.
So, Rian, now is your time to shine, to show off that you have gotten so much better since MWI 2024. You've improved over the years. GXP on the swing back, they have an EXP, I think. Oh, with the Alice. I think they also picked up the Alice later on, because I think they were thinking maybe a Yu Zhao might pop up in the EXP lane. They're not going to be a lane matchup, but they did show it. Oh, they go for the Arlot instead.
And it's really good. I like the Arlot here with the Akai, with the Atlas, with even the Farsa. Everybody can really proc that Vengeance. So comes down to how they'll play it. It is all about execution.
It's Galaxy Phoenix versus Na'Vi. One team has been in the championship circle before, the other a dark horse looking to make history, surprise everybody, and make it to the grand finals. Who is truly ready to rise above? It's Galaxy ready to rise above. It's Galaxy Phoenix versus Na'Vi. It's the knockout stage semifinals. Who's moving forward? Who's dropping down? Brigida Gideon, let's find out.
Thank you so much, Reflections. Here today, MWI is going to continue in the semifinals, is not going to disappoint here. We're kicking off this best of 5 immediately right from the get-go as we head on into the Land of Dawn to show you who is going to be the best. Both competitors have been set up perfectly by our studio, Brigida. And I don't know about you, but I was leaning over to GXP with their performance, and I know you're leaning into Na'Vi, but one of these teams are going to go home.
I really want to say I'm leaning into Na'Vi, but based on the performance that GXP has been showing us, I'm just pretty sure that this is going to be a tough task for them to overcome, to make it back into the grand finals. We're taking a quick look at the emblems right now. Definitely, I have my eyes on the Farsec since we don't see it a lot, but this is looking like a very aggressive type, because even based on the flight paths that Sophia's been showing us on the Farsa, there are just times where she plays it so aggressively, and that's nice to see.
Personally, for me, it's really nice to actually see Farsa kind of come back into the meta. Yes, she has the relevant damage, but it's that range that makes the marksman's lives difficult. So far, Rian and Winnie are going to have a very difficult game here overall. Remar put it the best, right? It's going to be so mechanically demanding, and also taking Master Assassin as part of the emblem set really goes to show that Rian, from beginning to end, wants to dominate.
Yep, and this is going to be such an interesting take too in the team fights, because they're all on Purifies apart from Keishi. So you know how difficult it is going to be because of how overwhelming the crowd control GXP actually had.
And that's actually the thing I wanted to talk about, right? When we're talking about ups and downs, pros and cons, Na'Vi for Purify sounds like a great idea. Who is going to be the one who engages? And I think they've only got one real answer for those long engages. But first, as we see, level 4 about to start, I want to see whether or not Keishi, can they back her up? Because you're going to need not Aya and Nami to join in on those engagements if they want to play the push and pull.
Yep. Because I think even the panel mentioned how extended team fights would be the go-to for Na'Vi. But GXP, would they even allow that? Would they even fight back? They tried to steal away that orange camp, but they don't actually take it away from Fa. Doesn't have the red tree though, but Na'Vi are still gonna get in this fight. That's the heavy spin. Keishi secures the objective already. There goes the better airstrike as well. Not Ayanami, not looking good. Gets brought back with the final slash, but is still alive. Sophia says no though. Fa right now looking like the next target, and she goes down in the hands of Mirai. Lemma trying to go for the stun, but is not enough to save Fa. And it seems like Na'Vi have somewhat equalized the kills in terms of that fight.
So close, yet so far. Sophia finds the first trade, can't get the second, keep them in the profit zone. Right now, we're back to the neutral state, 1-1 with a slight goal lead on Na'Vi, and that's exactly what we were expecting, especially since GXP are the ones, hey, we have to be ult reliant. We have to depend on our big wombo combos. Na'Vi, yes, they've got combos, but they can kind of fight forever and ever and ever.
Yep, we were asking if GXP were willing to take that on because it seemed like they were very ultra-reliant. They had to really wait for those setups, those timings. But Na'Vi, even before the objective, really tried to force a reaction out of them just by visiting that orange jungle cap. So now we see the rotations from GXP, but Na'Vi, I think the way they've been managing their sides, they won't fall into any traps that GXP will be setting up anytime soon.
Well, not yet, at least, because so far, I think GXP has also understood, you know what? As much as we want to be the aggressors, technically, if we absorb the damage, especially from Kenshi and not Ayanami, that means Sophia can get a free feathered airstrike. And if that first interaction, first fight of this game looked like that to a one-to-one trade before Sophia has items, I can't imagine once we start getting into the 8 minutes, the 11 minutes, when she's going to one-shot some of these targets.
Which is exactly the time you expect Rian to also join, right?
And just pray, just please.
And just hope that it doesn't land on her. Because that's going to be, I think, the biggest problem if Na'Vi decides to switch up their playstyle a bit and decide to play around just creating space for Rian to either find the objectives and the targets, because really, honestly speaking, I think it's just Rian who could pull off all these structured takedowns at this point, looking at their lineup.
I think it's really difficult as well to deal with not only the Akai, but the Atlas, because you're thinking, all right, at least with Akai, you can buffer the flicker to kind of get out of awkward scenarios. But unfortunately, with the Atlas, it kind of gives you that guarantee, so now you don't have a choice in battle spell options. But we see the fight now starting to progress in final slashes. Golden Hour is out!
And the feathered airstrike too, as Keiichi secures the second objective of the game. But look at how the heavy spin and the fatal links have been used at the same time. Pinning down two, but the follow-up doesn't seem to be there. GXP are just trying to run away, but Fa doesn't find that route.
That's exactly what Na'Vi wants to do. Break them apart. Make sure that they don't have the key components to this wombo combo all in the right spaces. That's why you're seeing, hey, trying to get the final slash Adling, but most important, the Golden Hour doesn't necessarily have to land. It needs to influence position as the gank onto Ling commences.
Honestly, because even Lemma, I think, wanted to go for the backlines, but that Golden Hour meant so much. Ling up against two really tanky members. Can she actually handle this? There goes the stun from the feathered airstrike, but Keiichi might go for the chase. Doesn't care about the feathered airstrike. Fortunately, dodges the throne of ruin.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. But hey, you know, Alice without that flicker can't make those big plays just yet. But here comes the re-engagement from Ayanami's side. So far, Sophia has been doing some phenomenal damage in the early stages of the game. But look at the mid. She's been stuck up here for a while. Somebody needs to cover that.
And Lemma has been struggling so far to just actually get those targets or even just be a bully overall as the Atlas, because Mirai has been phenomenal as well. I think this is what you expect when the Marcel is open, which makes it really annoying at this point. And surprising to see, actually the first turret down bot has been already taken down, so this might allow Na'Vi to move a bit more around the map.
No!
But not when casualties like that take place.
And look, the casualties are going to keep on coming here. They even drop. Oh, they pull it back with a fatal links outside of the Golden Hour to ensure the kill too. What an insane run, because with 10 seconds left on the clock, the turtle is going to show up. And right now, if Keiichi can steal it, that's great, but I don't think this is a contestable scenario anymore.
Just as we were talking about how they could move a bit more around the map, GXP were the ones first to move and anticipate that rotation and switch from Rian as well as not Ayanami. What better way to set up for this upcoming objective, but Keiichi as well will be nearby.
Oh, the Purifies are already out for Mirai alongside of Rian, and now they're gonna 5v5 once more.
All right, not Ayanami trying to zone. We don't see the setup come in from GXP just yet. Lemma with a perfect pair, but there goes the final slash onto Mirai. He's trying to run out, but the throne of ruin coming in from Keiichi, just going straight for the backlines alongside not Ayanami, forcing Sophia and Ling out. Range is trying to deal with a P, now able to find two.
Very, very patient here. And this was the big problem that I was talking about Navi's composition. When you have your Alice, who also is your jungler, your main retribution user, you don't want to be the one who always has to not only sit on top of the neutral, but I'm the only one who can actually stop the feathered airstrike. Somebody else needs to be in position, and unfortunately, they don't have enough tanks to do that. So GXP making the high-level decision. If I just break the ankles of Mirai, then not Ayanami will have to reveal themselves, because unfortunately, Alice, very linear hero. You know exactly when she's going to engage.
Yeah, there was nothing stopping GXP from just staying in the fight when they already popped that Purify from Mirai. And it's not like they had enough time to reset as well, because they had to deal with the threat of GXP just going straight for the objective. But this is a very fast rotation down bot. Not Ayanami and Keishi sense it, but I believe that'll probably create a bit more of space for Winnie, who's kind of struggled here in the bottom lane for the longest time.
Yeah, but at least, you know, in terms of EXP, she's not too far off, right? They're still level 10 to level 10. I mean, obviously there is a death in the end, but on that top side, they're not slowing down. Navi's using the macro well, and even making sure they're soaking up EXP and gold in the mid lane.
Oh, the damage coming in from Winnie is actually starting to hurt. Feather's right in the face! Right in front of these members of Na'Vi. They were very unafraid to actually show themselves like that.
Yeah, it does mean that not Ayanami has to go for a recall here, but they can look to recontest the position. Now, in the mid lane, we see that at least from Rian's side. And I love the fact that they're trying to show information in different ways. Like, oh, hey, we actually want to put a lot of focus. Wait, hold on. Was that the final slash already being used? No, Ling still has it. But there is going to be a moment sooner or later where we're expecting GXP to start attacking structures. And the one that I'm looking at, mid-tier 1. That's such an important turret to get rid of.
Yep. And it's such a big problem for Na'Vi. The way that Sophia has been untouched despite all their attempts, despite Keishi's attempts, and unknowingly GXP taking advantage of that to also cover other areas across the map. So it seems like Na'Vi at this point, you don't really know who your attention should really fall onto. Is it going to be really Winnie or Sophia, who's been winning out huge on this early game and been very dominant in terms of her playstyle? Because as much as Mirai gets the information, she's just too well protected on the far side.
Yeah, I have to agree. And they don't really have too many ways to kind of break them out of it. I'm trying to think of what would the order of the fight look like in order to get an upper hand against GXP. Either they get massive value out of Keishi, but I think for now, it's up to Rain. And if Rain gets blasted every single time by the Feather Airstrike and forced to fight early, it might not necessarily be good. Oh, this engagement!
There's no golden hour left. GXP are just gonna go for it. The heavy spin hasn't been committed, but the Throne of Ruins does too! Ling falls down, the Expulator is gone, so is the Roamer. It's a double for Keishi. The best possible setup before this First Lord.
That's exactly what we were looking for, and Rain able to find these really big assists, making sure those Gloom stacks are nice and high to start eating away at the members of GXP's front line. And that's what we want to see. Here, both Na'Vi and GXP now finding solutions to the problem, but with Lord spawning in Navi's favor, this 2.2k lead is only going to extend further as Mirai, unfortunately here, has to back away. But Winnie, can they catch her? I don't think they have enough damage to intercept her midway.
Yeah. She will get back safely. They have to deal with the Lord marching up top too, but as you mentioned, GXP, they're just really holding on to this mid turret. That's so much map control that Na'Vi could actually take for themselves if ever they let that go. But things are looking very favorable for them. It's ballooning to an almost 3k gold lead, and GXP have to split themselves up, but you would expect them to just really take advantage of their team fight potential, but at this point, Na'Vi are not fighting them head on in terms of that.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good from both sides. GXP doesn't have full information on where Na'Vi is, so they're trying to probe and prod around to figure out where they are, and Na'Vi purposely denying them that information, hoping that Sophia tries to use a feathered airstrike in a predictable area to clear those waves. Now GXP looking to take that space back in hopes that maybe Na'Vi's just a little sloppy, but both sides have been very, very clean. They back away nicely, and despite the score being 4-5, a 2.9k lead is pretty good for someone like Rian.
Yeah, but it's a bit more time for you to expect GXP to actually be much more equipped to fight back against Na'Vi. I think earlier on, though, we saw Winnie sort of already start to shred majority of the HP from Keishi and not Ayanami. But the thing is, they don't really have enough time over to Winnie to just deal with these targets one by one. If she ever does go in with a blazing duet, she has to be sure that it's perfect. But Na'Vi are the first ones to go in. The heavy spin catches Mirai though. There goes a vengeance coming in from Ling. They try to take them out one by one, but Keishi Does she go in with a response? Another final slash coming in. They drag KC back under the turret, but it's actually Mirai who finds, or who is the target.
Yep, and this costed them a lot of battle spells. This isn't over just yet because Fa's going to be the next one to fall down here with not much of an issue overall. This was how many flickers? 3 flickers. The Fatal Links comes in. Final Slash is going to pull them under. I don't think they're going to... Wait, hold on. The Feathered Airstrike might be good for something as they walk out even with a Wishing Lantern. It ain't enough.
The damage from Sophia can be felt, but the abilities, the escape tools from Na'Vi are also just a bit too much to deal with. Sophia just using the Wings by Wings to move around. Ling trying to go for a re-engage, but that's going to be Keishi immediately making her way out.
All right, so the mid lanes are actually playing a significantly huge role in this game. Rain making sure those front lines wanting to do the exact same thing Sophia does without having that same backline threat. They're attacking Lima, they're attacking Fa. If Ling walks up too far, then you know they're trying to go for a full-on counter engage. But let's look at the items because again, Ling playing with the War Axe of all things, trying to make sure that she's more of a bruiser in these fights rather than a dedicated tank. But on the opposite end, the infinite scaling of Mirai here, man, that Thunderbelt is going to stack up fast.
The Rose Gold Meteor even for Ling, like the way she's just probably after those setups and being one of those members to dive in and be in their face, but Na'Vi are trying to already poke down this Lord. The waves up top too have to be dealt with. Oh, but Fa actually finds one! It's gonna be Keishi, the best possible target. Golden R used just to stop them momentarily, but Winnie has her eyes set on this target. Blazing Duet already committed, and they find the jungler for Na'Vi. She also finds Mirai. It's only 3 members left, but the BMI brings her back. Now they're able to actually regroup, and Rian will at least find one, but Winnie still trying to find, oh, the damage from Sophia!
It's too much to handle here. Rain looking to actually try and turn this around, but I think, honestly, they should not fight. They're gonna get hit by everything. The final slash, Feathered Airstrike as well.
Oh, Rian actually still finds one despite that, but was it actually worth it?
This was not worth it. They should have called off the fight at that point. They already traded equally. They didn't need to overextend even further, and this now ends up to be a +1 for GXP. I get it. The mid lane looks like it's about to start crashing in, and if you just delay the fight any longer, it would have been good, or maybe an endgame scenario. But keep in mind, right now, everybody's getting close to level 15. Sophia, currently, with the highest amount of damage, they have to be aware that the Feathered Airstrike is the nuclear option.
Honestly, even her first 2 skills already deal massive amounts of damage, even towards the tankiest members of Na'Vi. So I guess it's a small win for them that they finally actually got that base turret in mid, but GXP are still going to be confident enough, especially with Flying Clouds, to just keep moving in and out of their base and around the map to make sure that the wave control doesn't get as bad.
Speaking of wave control, we can already see that GXP, they don't want first position on this Lord. They want Na'Vi to sit on top of it. But this allows Rain to actually start setting up those Gloom stacks. They're rushing it fast. Fog makes the attempt.
Oh, can Fa actually make it in time, though? Heavy Spin already committed, and she does! The Retribution, the Lord falls into the hands of GXP, and now they're just after the counter engages. There goes Keishi. They find Sophia. It's finally a shutdown, but Ling takes down not Ayanami. Keishi's a bit too tanky to be dealt with, and Ling is just trying to run away and survive.
Yep, that War Axe is coming very handy here. Look at the spell vamp. Keishi now, once again, is going to try their attempt to slow down these waves. Again, it's a wet noodle fight. Nobody can really hurt each other. The main damage dealers on both sides are by far the most important players.
And that damage dealer from GXP doesn't care. They just really want to even out the map. That's why Winnie's been working on the outer turrets that are left. Keishi, well, we did expect her to make it out of that. She just walks back to the turret, but they still have a Lord to deal with, and possibly GXP could really even out the map control at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see the items in just a little bit here, but for now, GXP just maintaining control. Full item build here, and even boots being sold by Winnie. Wants to get the extra little bit of power with the Wind Talker. Same can be said for a lot of people, but interestingly enough, we're seeing that Sophia actually opting to go for a Wishing Lantern here on top of everything else. I would have imagined that the Lightning Truncheon would have been the go-to, noticing that I don't see any Athena shield, just Radiant Armors maximum or Oracles for the side of Na'Vi.
All right, they still have waves coming in mid. But Na'Vi too are prepared to take this on. All Purifies will be available, but the Feathered Airstrike is already enough to zone them all out. Fortunately, their wave clear seems reliable enough because they have the Lilia, they have the Bruno, so they're able to push GXP out and they don't get any base turret.
I'm surprised that they didn't want to try and force something. Their composition with the Farsa is particularly good at sieging against their targets, right? They could have used the heavy spin to kind of push them away. Maybe, you know, have Ling stand in the corner and make it look like, oh, I could flicker and pull you guys back into the team. Just their presence alone should make Na'Vi nervous, right? Or force reaction out of them.
Yeah. So far, at least, too, I think Na'Vi, we don't really get to see them utilize the Golden R differently, in a sense that it's more onto certain targets rather than them just creating space, or as you mentioned, maybe just breaking formations. And maybe at this point in the game, that might be a bit of help, because it's either they just really want to block off certain entry points or want to add to how they don't get to further chase, which I feel don't make it as targeted in terms of approach.
I think the hard part about it is because before this we had like multiple outer turrets, so it's easier to kind of like funnel them into the jungle. But now that we have a little bit of a free form on the map, GXP, they want to play their traditional front to back while still having potential flankers like Ling. Na'Vi, on the other hand, I'm not so sure, because Mirai's position is...
How they deal with this, waves definitely have to take priority first, especially in the far lane. But Keishi and Rian, I think they will be trying to start things off a bit. They do get a bit of vision for not.
They're forcing.
Is that why they're forcing everything now? But Fa is starting to feel a brunt of the damage. Gets caught into Golden R, but gets to walk away! Mirai now has to purify out, but Keishi as well as everybody else are trying to go in. They finally find Fa, one of the best possible targets, and look at not Ayanami dealing with Sophia as Rian and the rest of Na'Vi just clear out the front lines one by one.
Oh no, they missed out the opportunity. They forced it a little too hard, and now Ling will try her.
Will she use the vengeance of the Lord? Sophia repositioning out, but Rian has two minions by her side. Keishi will be here too. Immortality side. Keishi will be here too. Immortality already popped.
No way.
Mirai goes down. They don't want to risk it.
Oh no, she just used her cooldowns. The next wave is already here. It's too late.
And now it's Na'Vi taking game number 1 after 20 minutes of back and forths.
Man, this was a high-level game. Both sides really taking everything into account, from movements to body language to, most importantly, I think that they need to start memorizing Purify timers, how long they actually are. Even if there are 3 seconds left on that cooldown, you can still force that fight. It's moments like these where the lines get thinner and the level of execution must be high.
Na'Vi, after a very unexpected run, now the momentum really seems to be on their side.
It really looks good. And personally for me, I don't know if any one of these teams are going to need that extra motivation, that extra push. But this is only our very first game, and it's this intense. It's only going to heat up from this point onwards. We're going to be throwing it back soon over to our studio, as our ladies are going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure it out for game number 2 right after these messages.
Welcome back in. Game number 1 for this great series has concluded. It's Na'Vi getting a big win. They now lead 1-0 in this best of 5 series. Welcome back into the studio. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, Mirko Rinmar. Let's break it down, boys. Rinmar, going into it, the hero selection was a big talking point, and we knew that they were differing styles. Now, for on the one side, for Galaxy Phoenix, they wanted to go in hard and heavy. They wanted to fight aggressively. For Na'Vi, though, they were okay with things being a bit slower. How do you think it worked in execution?
Well, it worked out well for Na'Vi early on, but again, because they got their comforts in the Farsa in Claude, I'm talking about Galaxy Phoenix here, they still look pretty much within their realm of comfort.
đợt đấy đợt nhóm ấy suốt đây pray mất chật tim mê trai lại bàn mẹ mà ông cả là trời ạ oh my god ខានលេងប្រហែលថ្ងៃដូចទឹកលុយដូចពេញដល់ក្រោយនេះតោះអូខេអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាចឹងថ្ងៃនេះគឺថាយើងមកលេង Clash of Clan វគ្គដដែល Clash of Clan ហ្នឹងបាទ not bad តោះចឹងយើងទឹកលុយរបស់យើងបាទពេញហើយបាទមិនដឹងធ្វើស្អីទេបាទចឹងយើងយកលុយទៅវិនិយោគបាទអូខ្ញុំចង់ up town ផ្លេចប្រាប់អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាថ្ងៃនេះថាខ្ញុំចង់ up town ឡើងទៅ level 14បាទតោះ let's go ជួបគ្នា7ថ្ងៃក្រោយនៅមួយទៀតនៅគេ shop គេខ្ញុំនៅ shop គេនេះគ្នាតិចខ្ញុំទិញឲ្យដូចជាមាននៅអីទេមិញអីគេមិញអត់បានមើលតោះអ្នកនរគ្នាអញ្ចឹងយើង upgrade ឡើងផ្ទះរបស់យើងទៅជា level 14 7ថ្ងៃក្រោយមិនយើងជួបគ្នាបាទ7ថ្ងៃក្រោយយើងជួបគ្នាអញ្ចឹងទឹករបស់យើងពេញហើយជាងអូនេះខ្ញុំ upgrade នេះមួយសិនខ្ញុំចង់ up អីគេអត់ដឹង up អីអ្នកនេះ up ណាដែលអត់តនេះ up នេះមក 3D អត់ដឹងអានឹងអីគេទេអានឹងយ៉ាទី level 2មក3ថ្ងៃបាទចឹងអូខេយើងនៅសល់លុយប៉ុណ្ណេះយើងត្រូវតឡើងលបងឬក៏យ៉ាងម៉េចបាទឥឡូវយើងតឡើងលបងមកគ្រាប់ទៅតឡើងលបងលេងទៅនេះគ្នាលុយយើងវារឿងច្រើនគួរសមណាស់ចូល Queen របស់យើងអត់តន់ចាប់ទៀតដោះ update នេះចោលទៅ update ចោលទៅនៅទៅអីទៀតជាងចឹងជាងរបស់យើងតនេបាទជាងរបស់យើងតនេបាទតរីចាកុំចង់មកប៉ាំងឥឡូវយើងទៅមើលផ្ទះយប់ម្ដងផ្ទះយប់បងមើលអូ my god ផ្ទះយប់របស់ខ្ញុំដូចជាអត់មានដំណើរការសោះដូចជាជាងនៅតនេទាំងអស់បាទឥឡូវយើងមកវាយផ្ទះយប់សិនហើយបន្តមកចាំយើងទៅវាយផ្ទះថ្ងៃបន្ថែមទៀតហ្គេមនេះគេថាយើងលេងផ្ទះយប់សិនហើយចាំយើងលេងផ្ទះថ្ងៃតាមក្រោយអូខេឥឡូវយើងវាយពីណាមុនខ្ញុំចង់វាយពីកដាលនេះទៅមុនកដាលនេះដឹងថាមានអីមកកដាលនេះអូខេឥឡូវតោះនេះមានអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងតោះ let's go កដាលហ្នឹងដល់មានអីមកអូខេចុំផ្ទុះបាត់ឆ្អើយនិយាយទៅខ្ញុំ live មួយថ្ងៃ2ម៉ោងអ្នកនរគ្នាហើយអ្នកនរគ្នាចាំ support ខ្ញុំផងបាទឥឡូវ live មួយថ្ងៃ2ម៉ោងណា2ម៉ោងណាអ្នកនរគ្នាបាទ live មួយថ្ងៃ2ម៉ោងហើយ live នេះគេថាយើង live កំសាន្តលេងទេបាទឥឡូវនេះគឺថាតបរបស់យើងដើរចូលទៅខាងក្នុងហើយយើងបាន 61% ហើយសង្ឃឹមថាអត់បានទៅវគ្គបន្តទេមើលទៅបាទព្រោះអានផ្ទះនេះបានឈឺណាស់បាទអូបានទៅវគ្គបន្តទៀតអ្នកគ្នាបានទៅវគ្គបន្តទៀតអត់អីមានសង្ឃឹមខ្លះអាចនឹងបានផ្កាយមកផ្កាយពីផ្កាយទៀតថ្ងៃនេះខ្ញុំថារៀបចំតឡើងផ្ទះតឡើងតុករបស់ខ្ញុំអញ្ចឹងណាតែអត់បានតឡើងទេអីយ៉ាតោះយើងវាយពីណាទៅណាមុនហ្គេមនេះបើយើងលេងតែតបហោះសុតយើងនឹងឈ្នះហើយនេះវាយពីកន្លែងនេះមកផ្លឹប những destroy bọn này ở tới top những đã cho khử rồi top khang lơ những cầm tay chào vào đây ở top khang cao những cầm tay chào là hay chẳng những nơi miền phía rồi nè chơi cài bay rồi te dục ra tới khang nãy này mấy giờ cái chuối nhá ở banh ở đây chẳng chuối như là vô banh sẵn này vô banh sẵn chiên cái upgrade tầng nó chân dương miền phía rồi vài một ở đây thì và những ngày chút nè tại mặt đòn bà nè là cái trauma game mới sẵn nè cái trauma nhom lên game bài chia sẵn tại nhom ở toàn miền là bỏ upgrade lên game lên ấy thì hay là mua internet bởi nhóm cứ slow khang mình đến lên bàn đà tập hết game tôi thú thì tôi lên game thông đối chuyện cả tiền lên game ban năng oh my god trời thì cái là thông tơi mà ở đấy nè gì chân lên thông mà đã bài chiều mất tao này let's go tôi khỏi bạn chó đây này rồi mà cô thông nít tán à bà đá gì này giờ đây dương mi phi roi cua đây nè phi roi cua mình ai cầm chặt enemy bạn half three trời cho kìa cho player ở nơi miền này đi tiệt chào bạn player nơi miền nào bắt tọa này tiệt nó cho hay gì morto dương từ bờ kia vài dương rồi như ra hay ra đi việc pi việc mua kia vài dương man một pi rồi trời ơi là về cái tan là cái nghĩa là về cái tan này trời giờ đi mà đai ơi rồi trời là về cái mic nó không á ở đây nè nè anh đang kiệt ban cái bấy vậy mà tới kiệt ban cái vậy kiệt ban vào đây nơi PK bằng pi crop đi rồi nè mà rồi vào đây rồi tao dương cũng nơi mơ dương qua cho cái tê được ra tập ti dương ở xây thốn rồi nào mới là bỏ dương ở xây tàn điện tao dương từ vẹn bắt to tiết trời mà bữa tiết kia là khơi nó nhớ cái vào đó tao dương quay bài đại mà nó quay này nó mặc vào tao này xuống à này ngọc PK nhóm bạn PK nhóm là về là pram đá tan là đời này kìa cho lắng đừng xây tan quá nha em già chrik bụt này trời chi tệ đi mà chi tệ đi buồn đọc điều shit chi tệ buồn đọc điều lôi sật free to play chơi game mấy cái free to play à. Play chân vay và tia kia là vào vô.
Here's how to download Roblox. First go
chơi game này game ấy. Game nó tinh mấy. Trời vậy. Click here. Toàn đại download vào nè. Toàn đại download vào. Mà này mà. Chăm tích nào thì chăm tích. Ta dừng. Vài bữa em tiệt play. Ok, dương ban tắc lôi chuyển của xóm đấy. Nè tao khá cho clan nhóm bán bà. Clan nhóm cứ thấy admin là cái admin member đi. Nơi thì nhóm mình anh sắp tầm đâu. តើយើងមកវាយតែយកទាំងអស់គ្នាដើម្បីរកទឹកលុយបាទ ហើយវិធីខ្ញុំកាក់ទៅហើយខ្ញុំវាយក្បាច់ដែរដើម្បីបានលុយហើយយើងលេងរបៀបនេះគឺថាបានងាយស្រួលរកលុយ វាមិនទៅពិបាកតោះហ្គេមនេះគេថា 100% តែម្ដងយើងអាចនឹងឈ្នះ ស្អប់ជើងហ្មងដើរបាយគ្នា Nice one ទីគេតាន់ដែរប៉ុន្តែមិនសូវតាន់ទេ này tao bạn lưới ok endless là kìa, thay quá. Cho gì á. Mà kẹo mới cặp để thay. Kẹo mới thay chơi gì ạ. Không chơi. Chúng ta bật thoát lên đây. Bộ phone dương bùng mở bật thế nè. Tiền niệm lại. Tao này tao cái này là dương từ lên tẹt ngày bây giờ mới nhẹ tẹt biệt ngày ạ. Ta tẹt biệt ngày bây giờ anh miên chờ đấy. Hãy clan bây giờ mà toàn miên lại chỗ thế này đó cái này anh enjoy bạn và cho roman lên chia chia đi đấy và. Dương cái dương trommer game năng đấy. Trommer game năng lên ra đấy. Ok, hãy top bởi dưỡng để chia ready ở hỏi tỏ dương. Từng vài sắp tới từng ngọc này chẳng đừng là tất đai nhau vì khăn bài này chứ nè. Ây da, có ba cái ba máu này ạ. Cọc sợi, mà liên mà nè. Lối sọt. Ok, hãy tỏ. Lợi dương mà mưa tất đai mà chẳng đừng là tất đai nhau bài mất mà. Bây giờ nhâm lấy bài đất nào không? Rồi, tỏ máu nhâm đã Queen I clear land I clear kiên này off tao nói nhầm đại chơi anh cho support nó. Yeah. Hỏi hello bây giờ tục tới bà. Tỏ hello good bè. Để tao cho vay là một play mà được vay một tiền. Trời gì á tốt hay trời. PK này. Chào bạn ơi. Khăn lên màn ngay thôi từ đây dập món từ đấy nó tệ. Chào bạn Queen nhóm địa bạn. Khăn vài vũ thôi từ đây lít nha. Mình thấy chỉ đặc biệt nếu mà tôi và tí cái tan này kìa. Khơi cho tan cho giới sứ nè. Bùm. Lôi sật một cầu. Mà chăm cặp ấy nè. Plot là bóng máu ơi. Play cắt máu à. Lôi kia là không là nó ơi. Quả đây à. Ban class ta. Mùi nó. Nó có test thực lý cái ban class đấy thấy không? Này. Nice one. Slide lối vậy nè.
I'm thinking carry is Harif is not bad. The other one is Bruno. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like Harif here.
Imagine being Sonjika now, though. She's like, which ultimate do I pick up? Do I pick Alice's? Do I go for real-world manipulation? Do I go for Fatal Links?
I feel like with this draft, I think it's best to take the Eve ult. Because picking up the Atlas, I think you're going to die fast because of that carry.
And it's really great because you want to outrange the carry.
You're really great.
Thank you. You are too.
So now
You
Geltec.
too, Reflections.
You too, Reflections. You know what?
Thank you.
I got to say, when we look at you, it's like looking at us back.
Me too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing myself.
We see ourselves. By the way, Bruno gets picked up as well as the CC. This is pretty smart because, again, Geltec, they have like a singular style of the draft for this one, which is let's win the lane, right? Bruno wins against the carry, CC wins against the Alice, and then the mid trio, amazing.
Which is not great.
Oh, for
It's
Vitality.
not great for Vitality.
You're right.
I thought that she was going to pick up something like the Clint because she's picked it up before, but they go for something even more extreme like the Bruno, and obviously Bruno has a great window in the early game and also has a great window into the later stages of the game. So it's not necessarily them putting all their eggs in one basket.
And now with Berserker Fury, even the tanks will feel squishy.
Ouch. Ouch. That's all they're going to say. Or maybe they say something different.
This has to be an assassin. The only thing is what? Right, Yuzushin is already out. Do they go for the link?
Lancelot?
Actually, not bad. Not the best, but not bad. Hayabusa? They still go for the link. I don't know how to feel about this, Eterna, because this does not seem like a linkable game.
It's definitely going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough. And we saw in game number 1, if they lose the drafts, it's not going to be as straightforward.
Oh, the Vitality fans are loud, but can the Vitality team get another W? Tie up the series 1-1, or will Geltic's Cyber team secure their spot in the grand finals by closing it out 3-0? They've got 2 more maps to get there, but they're well on their way to doing so. It's Vitality versus Geltic's Cyber team, map number 2. Brigitte Gideon, let's do it.
Thank you so much, Reflections. We go into the land of Dawn with the world watching. Everybody looking for somebody to stop Vitality's reign. But with the fans here and how much energy they give, they can only watch and bear witness as our competitors hit the field.
They cannot let any other feeling take over. I know we might be worrying by a bit just looking at how the Link could potentially be playing into this game, but you have to give out all your energy because if GCT get on the momentum, it's gonna be tough for Vitality here.
Keep in mind that, truth be told, as much as this might not be a linkable game, as long as Vival is able to take out Tokyo, there's a really good chance that Vitality still win the team fight here. There's not a lot of big damages, nothing that really leans into what they want to do. There is anti-synergy on both sides, but for now, at least the laning phase is going smoothly.
So they've went for a very specific win condition if that were to be the case. It's not a Ling just constantly going for the kills all over the map, but more on making things difficult for one of the main carries of GCT, which is looking to be, once again, just the Bruno. But Kyoe seems to be on to Chell at this point. Vivian does show up though, but they're not really gonna go for the fight.
Yeah, this is more of a punishment on the GCT side. Like, look at the tax on the HP, right? Getting a lot of the regenerates out of them, while Chell barely missing any EXP or even gold in the lane itself. Now, Newborn, this is the real question here. The fact that they banned out the... Wait, hold on.
Oh, Vivian does find Tokyo's Glass to Purify, but Vival shows up. And right on cue, you mentioned it. This might be the game plan.
Yup. Again, the laning phase going really, really well. They got to be worried. Like, GCT need to recognize and remember that Ling, similar to Fanny, you take trades in lane, you better stay at least above 60% of your HP. Anything lower, there's a good chance that Vival's gonna show up and dive you.
This is why they took out so much of the more safe options in the gold lane, the likes of the Moskov. They just wanted a gold lane that was easier to access for a Ling, but then right now we did talk about the EXP lane. It seems like Yubon does have a slight advantage over Fumi Echo, at least for now.
This is great. Vitality understand we don't actually need the first turtle. All we got to do is see whether GCT wants it more than us, and we're going to start stealing camps away. Look at that. Minimal. Give it up. Doesn't matter. Ling's going to get a purple buff on the opposite side, and still, unless GCT recognize, hey, after this turtle, we need to go for a fight and invade on the enemy purple side.
Vitality had enough time to get back despite that steal. Now Fumi Echo though and Vivian are quite low on HP, so Vival just does it alone! Vival steals it all alone! There goes the real world and the Tempest of Blades, and Sonjik is nowhere to be found! What a macro play by Vitality!
What was that? What was that? Wait, I'm pretty sure that Vival didn't even have the purple buff. Yeah, Vival doesn't have it. They didn't steal it. They decided, you know what? They're actually rushing it down. We're gonna walk back over to the turtle and just take him out. They got 2 kills for no trade on top of the turtle. I think that I don't want to say that GCT kind of let it happen, but it sort of feels that way.
Yeah, they weren't able to really scout out what else Vitality was doing up on the map. I think they realized it very, very late too. So now they're losing out on a lot of resources. Fortunately, they are somehow balanced out in terms of levels and EXP, but that was a good start for Vitality this game.
Yeah, especially since GCT already had all the advantages that they were looking for. Well, maybe not on the gold side, but other than that, they had first position, first move.
Quaito all alone here. There's 4 members, and Chell decides to go in with the ultimate and the setup from Viviano as well. There goes the real world manipulation. The follow-up is just too much from Vitality. Vival constantly finding more and more kills. City gets 2 as well.
All right. I got to think about this for a moment because they are not playing as confidently as we saw in Game 1. Revitalize was still available technically for Quavo, and by no means, I understand by holding your battle spell, knowing that you are going to die, that you want to save it, but at the same time, the cooldowns and knowing that the next turtle, you're not going to have the right abilities just yet anyway. So at this stage, Vitality are starting to take control. They control the tempo, not like GCT in game number 1. They're making their statements now and loud and early.
And isn't it a dream start for an Assassin lineup too? Because even at this point, Chell just confidently taking on the 1v1 against Tokyo. That's where you see the Revitalize come in, but is it a bit too late? Because the Tempest of Blaze from Vival is going to finish everything off. Doesn't have it now though, so she just might get traded out, and it's a shutdown for Kuecho.
Huge shutdown. Really sad that it had to go onto the roamer. It would have been nice that, you know, maybe Sonj or maybe Kyoe, somebody else. Most ideally Tokyo, because right now Tokyo is taking so much hurt. 0-3, 5 minutes into the game. 2 of those deaths ended up being handed over to Vival. One I don't really count, but even so, it's not the best position for any gold laners out there.
Yeah, it's been a bad day for Bruno. I think a lot of Brunos have been going through the most unfortunate of early games. We saw that happen too earlier on, but this time around, hopefully they do get to find some way to get back in the game, because again, it's still a very fast lineup, but just as fast, Vivian finds a target and they decide to pour in all of their resources there. Wrath of Raya 2 burned it down, but it might not be enough. They only find Sonj for now, but the follow-up from Fumi Echo! Look at that Throne of Ruin as Chell also finds Tokyo in the top lane. So much wins for Vitality all across the map.
A beautiful chain. Are they gonna dive this? Yep, Lumon, you got it. Oh, got the flicker out of them. Doesn't get the kill, and that's fine. Getting the flicker is good enough. GCT, at the very least, are punching back, but Vitality, this is a sweeping victory across the map. Top tier 1 already taken. Another neutral objective while they were at it. And not to mention, just really racking up the kills. 9-1.
Oh, that hurts. Chell just walked up straight to Tokyo, and you already saw how she brought her down to half HP, but Vitality have been heavy on the macro so far in this game. They've been very specific on their win conditions. They've accomplished it in their first rotation, and they need not repeat it a bit too much, enough to a point where GCT could read them out. Now it's GCT who we are currently questioning in terms of what the game plan currently is.
Well, right now, we just need to see a full-on team fight 5v5. We need to see how Yobon really impacts and influences the shape of the fight, right? Because so far we've only seen the traditional 4v4s and somebody is always late to the fight, unfortunately. And the chain CC on Vitality has been proven an effective strategy now that they've opened up mid-tier 1. They're just going to reapply that same script here in the jungle.
Whoa, Vivian decided to take that stun from GCT, but maybe at the expense of her life, or maybe not. But Quedro has enough damage to do it. Fumi Echo holding down 2 members as they also eliminate that Belleric in the back lines.
We trade 1 for 1 here. Not too bad. They still have 20 seconds left. Oh my god.
Whoa. Sonj looking at the target, but City picks up the kill. A lot of help here for Vival in the body block. This is just such a fast game for Vitality so far.
A really fast game, but at least Lubon going to make the difference here and try to at least get some gold back. It's a 4.7k lead, one of the bigger leads that we've seen here from Vitality in this matchup against GCT. 7 minutes into the game. So relatively early at the 8th minute, we're already getting a rough amount of 5k differentials.
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount of gold Chell has right now on this carry too. Look at that.
So rich.
8 to 11 is the gap between their levels. Tokyo, unfortunately, on a 0-4-1 KDA right now, and I feel like at this point, Chell could just confidently take on even the tankiest members of GCT, so that's going to be a problem for Kyoei and Quejo.
Well, speaking of confidence, you can see that Vitality showing themselves, hey, we're in the mid lane. Are you going to do something about this? Because we're walking to the Lord right now, and you don't have much of a choice. Now, the purple buff on the enemy side is spawning in 2 seconds, and Vival back into the same little shenanigans. They're repeating this script.
Yep, GCT badly want to contest, and they have not paid attention to the other parts of the map, all the while they've been trying to set up for the entries here in this upcoming Lord. But Vitality are just baiting them out. GCT, could they potentially sense this and try to get the or try to bite the bait because they see that Vival's up top. Quejo's getting bursted down, has to run away, but the setup from Sonj might not be enough because Vitality were prepared. Now it's just the backlines that Vival's really after because Chell can take care of the rest. Vitality win out big in that team fight.
Oh, wait, it's not over. It's not over just yet. They might actually get a little bit more here, but it looks like they've zoned them out entirely. Cine and Vivian doing a very good job to make sure that GCT don't pull any rugs from underneath them and sneak behind.
Vitality, that was such quick movement. Vival just for a moment showed herself up top after stealing that purple buff. And GCT were a bit too occupied with trying to get in and follow up with both Quejo and Sonj because they both went for setups anyway. But the counters from Fumi Echo, the Throne of Ruins, and the real-world manipulations, plus Vival just cutting off the rest of the members as Chell clearly had enough damage. GCT had no way around that team fight.
Oh, Belleric Wrath of the Dryad's already out. And now, Vival, are you going to go 1v5? Are you really that confident with a 7.3k lead for your team? I don't think so, because Fumi Echo, he's got it covered down by.
I think they're very careful now that they have this lead. They've learned so much from game number 1, and they've been playing it relatively simple now that they've already gotten the advantage for themselves. Now most of the holy shields are about to come fall for GCT, and I think it's just really playing for Tokyo that could be the game plan.
I don't know. I just saw Tokyo recently just purchase the Berserker's Fury 10 minutes, 30 seconds into this game. That's a really late pickup here in terms of just scaling timers. And in comparison to the already completed Trinity build on the opposite end, and of course, got to make sure you got some mana regen because Chell wants to stay on the map longer rather than having to recall every single time she runs out.
Ooh, tough though, because that can deal with the front lines, yes, but that Wishing Lantern pickup too from Cine, so that's a lot of items already packed by Vitality just to respond to the lineup of GCT or to whoever might want to start things off for them. And they might not even confidently do so because, as you mentioned, it's just the Haas and the Berserkers. 3k is the goal differential between Chell and Tokyo at this point.
Yep. If the math serves me right, I think it should be roughly around the 16th to 17th minute where we're expecting, okay, a bold attempt coming up from Vivian here, but do we see any counterplay?
Kyoei does try to go for a counterplay. It's Cine who she tries to set up for.
Whoa!
Does find the kill on Cine. They weren't able to accomplish it at first, but now they're gonna be okay. That's a loss for Vitality, at least one by one. GCT trying to be a bit more confident and pushing forward.
Yo, Fumi!
Fumi Echo, Throne of Ruin on the far! And the follow-up from Vival. Now it's Vitality with a re-engage. They're dealing with the front lines first one by one. It's the exact same script for Vitality. The spread of the damage. A triple for Vival and a double for Chell.
What a huge engage coming out of Fumiko. This small woman has some big guns at such high stakes games, and that is going to be it. Tokyo coming up in 7 more seconds, but the game is already done. A clean wipeout from Vitality to say, no, we're defending champs for a reason. 18-3.
Just when GCT thought that they could have found an opening, a single pickoff to boost their confidence, Vitality clapped back with the exact same sequence they've been doing to win out most of their team fights in this game.
Oh, the set plays here, the hesitation, I think that's what's really the difference here. If a team is not only proactive, but is decisive, that is going to be the big game changer. Because look at this, Fumi was already communicating, we're going to turn this fight instantly. And the backline, Vival, you just deal with them, the rest of us will melt them down. As Chell played a perfect game. Perfect purifies as well.
You have too many guards. Chell is too well guarded in this game.
We're going to be throwing over back to the studio. Break it down for us after these messages.
Vitality fights back. They tie up the series 1-1, and now things just got super interesting. That map was pretty dominant from the side of Vitality. What do you, I guess if you've been giving us a lot of euphemisms, you've been reading a lot of philosophy, how would you describe Geltec Cyber Team's action plan in that map number 2?
I would say for Geltec Cyber Team, they saw the future, but the future is many, and they tried to go for all of them. And that was the bad play, where sometimes, this is what we call Occam's razor, where the simplest answer usually is the correct one, but instead, they tried to correct all the questions, and that was the bad move.
I want to just say something, by the way, that was not planned at all. LaFell literally just freeballed that, and he did such a good job. Very well done. I'm impressed. Eterna, let's start talking about some of these stats, because it's clearly very one-sided.
Yeah, so it goes back down to the drafts. I think even LaFell mentioned it. This looked like a not lingable game. Is that what you said? Yeah, a not lingable game. And when you're up against a composition with a ling and so on and so forth, well, basically any assassin of that matter.
Yep.
The early game, that window is so important, right? Because that's when the assassin is at its weakest, and that's when the opportunity arises for you to try and pressure the ling. And it felt like Geltec was unable to utilize it to their advantage.
And I feel like this is why they're champions, right? Because they saw a small opportunity. The moment they got that Berserker Fury, they're like, you know what, you gave us an advantage, we're not letting this go.
We just saw just for a second Kioe versus Vival again, that Hive Queen versus the Ice Queen, and it's been highly entertaining. Only one queen though will get to play for the championship, and Vitality is coming back quick. It's now tied up 1-1. We take a look at one of the moments from that matchup in map number 2, and I believe this is going to be towards the tail end when Vitality says enough is enough, let's take the win.
So this was an interesting, well, it was a big play by Fumi Echo, right? Because initially it looked like, before this we don't get to see it, but